So there I was. Stick with me here. You and I are about to witness absolute betrayal. Holding my fallen father's tablet, walking past 10 coffins, my fiancé decides to drop a massive bombshell on me. Let us rewind the story. I am Xia Qin, youngest son of legendary General Shao Jin, basically known as the absolute war god of our entire nation. My father and all 9 of my brothers fell in battle fighting the Hanses. Every single one. I am the last guy left in the Shah family. Plus, I cannot even fight. Zero power, absolutely no cultivation skills, just nothing at all. Yeah, high society loves reminding me every 5 minutes. Anyway, the entire city actually showed up to pay their respects. Thousands of people wearing white headbands lined the streets for miles. Extremely emotional and solemn. I am out front doing my best stoic grieving son impression. Then I hear loud hoofbeats approaching. Here comes my gorgeous fiancée, Shuang, riding a white horse like she is the main character in an epic drama, which, apparently, she thinks she is. Does she step off the horse? Nope. Does she offer condolences? Absolutely zero. She looks down at me, literally looking down, because she refuses to dismount. Then she says, and I quote, "Babe, I fell for someone else, so I will marry him first. But do not worry, I will still marry you later." Not a promise breaker. Meanwhile, I am holding my father's memorial tablet. Watch closely, because you and I are about to hear her wild plan. She marries this guy first, has his babies first, then when she finishes that whole situation she will swing by and marry me. Oh, and those babies she has with that other dude, I get to raise them. Lucky me, right? Also, I am strictly forbidden from seeing my friends anymore. She wants me sitting at home like a perfectly obedient house husband, patiently waiting for her to finally grace me with her royal presence. I am looking at this woman thinking, girl, I had made your career, and it is true. 2 years ago, she was a nobody from a washed-up military family. She visited our house perfectly dressed up. I honestly thought she was gorgeous. I fell for her like an idiot, and we got engaged. My father and brothers took her under their wing, actively helping her rise through the military ranks. She went from a random sword girl to an actual decorated general. Now that my family is gone, their memory not even cold yet, she rolls up on her high horse, literally, telling me I should be grateful she is not just dumping me entirely. You should be satisfied, she literally said to my face. Satisfied. The crowd around us started whispering. Even complete strangers were like, yo, this is incredibly messed up. My 3 sisters-in-law, who came to honor my brothers, looked like their jaws were about to hit the actual floor. Eventually, she felt the pressure from everyone staring and finally moved her horse aside. But did she leave? Oh, no way. She parked herself right there, waiting, just like a stubborn toll booth. A seriously annoying, heartbreaking toll booth. I will wait here. You must give me an answer today. So, I went and buried my family. 10 miles of white-clothed mourners. The entire city was weeping. Let that sink in for a second. I am burying my family, while my fiancée sits impatiently on her horse right behind me, tapping her foot. When I got back, sure enough, there she was on that horse, still looking incredibly impatient. She genuinely looked annoyed the funeral took so long. I asked her who this new guy was. She said, General Fu Qining, totally starry-eyed. He saved my life on the battlefield. We are soulmates. I just laughed. Fu Qining, that massive loser. She went instantly ice cold. You think you are still the old Xia Qin? Fu Qingqing is a 4th-rank general now. I am 5th rank. And you? You are nothing. Not even worthy of being compared to him. And that is how my fiancé casually proposed a timeshare marriage to me at a funeral, while refusing to step off her horse. Got to love my life. So, where were we exactly? Ah, yes. My lovely fiancé sitting on her horse, telling me I am not worthy of being compared to her new boyfriend's little pinky finger. Classic romance. Meanwhile, the Shao family women behind me, they were absolutely furious, like steam coming out of ears. Furious. See, they all actually used to like Chuang. Pretty face, swings a sword perfectly, checks every single box for a Shao family wife. Grandma even completely approved of her. Everyone was counting on her to return, marry me, and help make some babies to continue our entire family line. Instead, she came back with whatever this nonsense was. I stayed totally calm though. Cool like that. I asked her, so, does Fu Qinqing actually agree to share a wife? She waved her hand completely dismissively. Forget him. He is not a vulgar person like you. He will understand. Vulgar. She called me vulgar. This woman literally jumped into my bed before we were even married just to lock down our family support. And now I'm somehow the vulgar one. The acrobatics of that logic could win gold at the Olympics. I then asked if her dad was cool with this genuinely insane plan. She said yes. Her father fully agreed. The entire family had collectively lost their minds. Fine, then. All right. So what do you and I make of this? Engagement over. My family may be down, but I will never sink to sharing a woman with another guy. Stick with me here. You and I are about to see her sneaky plan completely unfold. She wanted me to break the engagement so she wouldn't look like the villain. She had just scored a massive promotion in the ranks. With a shiny military career ahead, she simply could not risk the massive reputation hit of dumping the heartbroken son of the amazing commander who trained her. So, she came over, said the most outrageous things imaginable, and waited for my breaking point. Absolutely diabolical. Honestly, kind of impressive. Wicked, but impressive. She even had the audacity to claim she never wronged me, saying she just wanted to pursue romance. She called me petty for ending the engagement, but then my mom stepped up. Mama Lu was absolutely not having it. You want to walk away? Fine. But first, let us settle up. Turns out, while Chuang was out playing hero, her family treated us like a bank. 118,327 silver taels. My mom held up the signed receipts. Our family literally skipped meals to lend them funds. And they never paid back a single copper coin. We need those funds, Mom declared. The families and children of our fallen heroes require support. Pay up. Then you are entirely free to marry anyone. Chuang stared at me like I just ruined her life. She asked if I wanted this. I just nodded. Debts must be paid. That is how reality works. And that is when she totally lost it. Disgusting. You claimed to love me, but now you demand cash back? Are you even a man? I am so incredibly thrilled that I never went through with marrying you. Living with a useless guy like you would make me sick. You cannot even compare to Fu Qining's little finger. She was screaming so incredibly loud that 3 streets over probably heard her. Grandma almost fainted while crowds whispered. Some folks felt sorry for us. Others actually took her side. Wow, thanks a lot, random stranger. Very helpful. Now pay attention, because you and I are about to see her cross every line. Total explosive meltdown. Your entire family is totally cursed. Who would ever marry into this mess? Xia Qin is a complete waste. Go ahead and cancel the engagement, because no woman will ever marry him. Your family line ends right here. Your entire legacy simply fades with you. She actually yelled that at a memorial for a family that just lost 10 heroes in battle. The Shao women were absolutely shaking with rage. And then my 7th brother's fiancée, Su Lingua, boldly stepped forward. This girl is basically the other half of the famous 2 beauties of the capital duo. Her father is a 2nd-ranked general. She is gorgeous, fierce, and strong. The total package. She looked Chang straight in the eye and declared, "Who says the Shao line ends? You refuse to marry him? Fine, I will." The crowd went completely silent. Then my 8th brother's fiancée, Han Zun, a vice minister's daughter and absolute calligraphy genius, bravely stepped right up next to her. Me too. And then my 9th brother's fiancée, Luo Wayne, daughter of the top doctor and a true medical prodigy herself, joined in. Count me in too. 3 incredible women, all from families way more prestigious than the Chu clan. All of them highly accomplished. All of them breathtakingly beautiful. All stepping in front of me like a solid wall, volunteering to marry me. The absolute last guy standing. The entire street went completely silent, jaws hitting the floor. Somebody probably dropped their meat bun and never even noticed. Even I was just standing there thinking, wait, what? My 3 sisters-in-law want me? The guy who cannot even circulate spiritual energy. The human equivalent of a participation trophy? Is this real life? I know what you are thinking. Did we just step into a wild romance novel? Completely unhinged author. The crowd was completely losing their minds. 3 gorgeous, high-status women just openly volunteered to marry me. People literally did not know whether to cheer or call for help. Is this real? Su Ling Shuer, Hanzi Yun, and Lu Weining want to marry that completely useless guy right here. Every single one of them is a catch. This is insane. I have lived 60 years and never seen this. I am jealous and not even ashamed to admit it. Thanks, Peanut Gallery. Super supportive. Chuang sneered from her throne. Sorry, her horse? You 3 are putting on a show. Who would ever believe you would actually marry him? Then she glared at me. Are you trying to make me jealous? So I come crawling back? Delusional girl. I promise you that the last thing on my mind right now is winning your heart back. I am standing here holding family urns, and you think I am playing for chess? Romance? Hanzi shut her down cold. We swear before heaven and earth. This is not a performance. Chuang's face twitched. She had just finished her huge, dramatic speech about how absolutely nobody would ever marry me. And 3 seconds later, 3 incredible women who outrank her in literally every way. Family, looks, and talent lined up to prove her wrong. That face slap was so loud it echoed. She tried saving face. It was hilarious. My leftovers, and you 3 are fighting over them. Enjoy your miserable life with this loser. Do not come crying. So what do you and I take from this? I finally snapped. My family was barely laid to rest, and she kept talking. Stick with me here. Our guy's dad rescued her from total military ruin. Without him, she was completely finished. She actually laughed. Her response? Please. He was just investing early because he totally knew she would become a general. She claimed his family needed her future support. His dad, the supreme general, needing a 5th rank. Nobody for support? Ridiculous. The absolute audacity of this girl. If mental gymnastics were a sport, she would easily win 17 gold medals straight. He just told her to return the borrowed money and the engagement gifts, and they would be completely finished. She literally threw money at him. Sure, she would pay it back eventually, but the gifts? He canceled the wedding. No refunds on those. And she told him to stop using cash as a pathetic excuse to hold her back. A pheasant cannot match a phoenix. She demanded he never call again, so her darling Chinching would not get jealous. Then she just rode off on her high horse without ever stepping down. Not even once during this entire dramatic mess did she dismount. Hopefully that horse tosses her in a river. Back inside the house, our hero started coughing like an absolute grandpa. Luo, Weining, patted his back, reminding him about his medicine. She is the genius doctor here. Dr. Luo had been treating him for a year with rare herbs to reconnect his shattered meridians. Now here is the secret. Now pay attention. This is huge. His cultivation might actually return. His meridians are healing, and he wanted to surprise his ex with this news. Right. Imagine telling her, surprise, I might not be useless forever. And she would just coldly reply with, cool story. Anyway, I am marrying someone else. Bye. Bullet dodged. Now, about his 3 gorgeous sisters-in-law. He looked at them and smiled, saying, thanks for standing up for him. He figured it was just pure family solidarity, you know, defending their honor in the moment. Grandma completely agreed too. She told his mom to go outside and explain that the girls did not mean it, protecting their reputations. But then Su Lingua said they were serious. Hanza nodded. Luaning nodded too. They genuinely want to marry him, to continue the Shao family line, saying his lost siblings would approve. His internal reaction was a massive, confused, what? Having 3 beautiful, incredibly talented women wanting to marry him is super flattering. It truly is amazing. But here is the big problem. He has absolutely 0 time for romance right now. His crazy to-do list? Feed an entire household of widows, orphans, and wonderful elderly women. Support the families of 30,000 fallen heroes whose government pensions are totally worthless. Reclaim that mountain of cash and gifts from the Chu family. Plus, figure out how to make serious money extremely fast. Hopefully recover his awesome powers. Also, try to survive. He used to be so lazy. No money? Just ask his mom. No food? Ask mom. Life problems? Leave it to his 9 older brothers. But mom is broke, and his brothers are gone. The pantry is practically empty, and he is the only man left in a house full of people relying on him. Time to step up. I know what you are thinking. He is a transmigrate, right? He has 21st century knowledge packed right inside his head. It is finally time he did something awesome with it. Step 1. Take back all that cash from the Chu family. Who cares if Chua Wang thinks he canceled the wedding? She carefully engineered the entire plot just to keep those precious engagement gifts. He sees right through her. He knows her sneaky little scheme and refuses to let it slide. You want to play games? Fine. But he plays to win. Back in his room, he decided to do exactly what every self-respecting transmigrator always does. Invent something revolutionary and get rich. He grabbed some paper and a brush, cracked his knuckles, and wrote his first brilliant idea. Soap. Every transmigrator makes soap. It is basically the unofficial initiation ritual. Step 1. Arrive in the ancient world. Step 2. Make soap. Step 3. Massive profit. He stared blankly. Wait. How do you make soap? Something about oil and fat. You mix it with stuff. He sat there for 10 minutes, chewing his brush like a total goofball. He has no idea how to make soap. Okay, fine. Moving on. He crossed out soap and quickly wrote glass. Glass is even better. Glass would totally blow these ancient people away. You just need sand and extreme heat. Melt it down and somehow shape it. Cue another 10 minutes of awkward brush chewing. He does not know how to make glass either. He dropped the brush in absolute panic. Back in his original world, he worked a crazy schedule. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days, every single week. For you lucky people who do not know, when he finally got free time, he just played video games. Not once did he ever think to memorize medieval soap recipes, just in case he got teleported back to ancient China. He searched through everything. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college, work history. Searching his brain just like a stressed student frantically flipping through a textbook during a final exam. Nothing useful at all. He has officially embarrassed Isekai heroes absolutely everywhere. Here is where we leave it. Other heroes build massive gunpowder empires, while our guy panics. Come along with me. Sitting there completely blanking on soap ingredients, I fiercely slammed my brush down and stormed right outside. The entire mansion was draped in mourning. White. Sorrow echoed from every corner. It felt totally suffocating. Needing serious fresh air, I headed straight to my usual riverside pavilion. Great view. Perfect breeze. The ultimate spot for brooding. Shaolin, brother, I knew you'd be hiding here. I spotted Wang Lu approaching. Super handsome guy, always wearing black, looking surprisingly pretty in a slightly delicate way. We first met at some boring intellectual gathering, you know, where scholars sit around debating how to save the nation while literally doing absolutely nothing to help it. My 8th brother's fiancée had practically dragged me to one meeting. Just to help her save face, I casually explained the entire relationship between labor forces and basic productivity. Just basic economics, right? Those scholars stared at me like I was speaking pure gibberish. They totally thought I was just acting deep. But Wang Lu? His eyes lit up instantly, looking like I had just handed him the universe's ultimate secrets. The guy understood immediately. After that day, he always came back for more. I taught him economies of scale, cost structures, and supply chain optimization. The guy was so captivated, he practically wanted to take our notes. He even offered to pull strings for a sweet government position, claimed he had elite connections. I refused. Why on earth would I willingly work? I had a wealthy father and 9 insanely strong brothers. Life was a comfy hammock, and I was just chilling. That aged terribly, didn't it? I heard the tragic news about your family, Wangla murmured, pouring us wine. My deepest condolences. So we drank and drank endlessly. Usually my alcohol tolerance is legendary. Ancient wine is basically sweet juice compared to modern drinks. But tonight, everything was just weighing too heavily on me. Lost my father, lost my brothers, psycho ex-fiancé, a huge household to feed, and absolutely zero skills. The wine honestly hit entirely different tonight. Core memories flooded my mind. My father and brothers used to take turns comforting me after my powers vanished. They would always say it wasn't the end of the world, making me laugh. Before leaving for the front lines, Dad promised, "Son, when I return victorious, you and a Wang will get married and give me a joyful, chubby grandson." That was literally his only wish. I watched him ride away that morning. I never knew it was our absolute final goodbye. Now pay attention here. The way they all fell bothered me. My father defended the northern border for decades, and my brothers were legendary warriors in battle. How does an entire family of elite warriors suddenly vanish on the exact same day? Highly suspicious. It felt like the legend of Yui, history's most loyal general, completely betrayed and destroyed by his own court. Was my noble family betrayed too? The strong wine hit my head hard, and I abruptly stood up. The roaring river, the fierce wind, something wild was rapidly swelling inside me. I started reciting, well, technically stealing, Yu's famous masterpiece. Pure rage bristles my hair. Standing at the railing after the rain clears, I look up, fiercely roaring at the sky, my heart burning. Wangla totally froze, wine bowl hovering midair. 30 years of glory, just dust. 8,000 miles of war under moon and clouds. Never waste your precious youth doing absolutely nothing. You will weep when your hair turns white. Wangla stood up, totally trembling. When victory arrives, we will crush the enemy and break the invader's spirit. Then we will rebuild our broken homeland and bow before the throne. Wangla looked like his soul had literally left his body. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This epic poem could shame every single scholar nationwide. I casually waved it off, just missing my father. He asked about my planned wedding with Chang, clearly trying to cheer me up. I laughed bitterly. I gave my heart to the bright moon, but that moon shone straight into the gutter instead. Yeah, that basically sums it up. We finished the wine, and Wangla had his servant walk me home because I was completely hammered. You and I are about to uncover the craziest twist. And honestly, I'm still processing. Wangla, the suspiciously pretty, slightly feminine dude I had been drinking with for 2 years. Not a guy. The very second I was out of sight, they climbed into a royal carriage, removed their hair tie, and let beautiful flowing hair cascade down. Because Wangla was actually the secret empress of the entire freaking nation. Mueli, the supreme ruler of Dalong, disguised as a guy, chilling at nerd conventions, and drinking cheap wine with me. The actual empress had been sitting across from me, intensely listening to my supply chain economics lectures, and I literally called her bro for 2 straight years. She apparently came to check on me after my family's tragedy. Now, she was ordering her elite personal spy to investigate exactly what happened between me and Chuang. So to recap my day, mourned my family, got brutally dumped at the funeral, got proposed to by 3 different women, failed at inventing soap, plagiarized a legendary poet's masterpiece while totally drunk, and my drinking buddy is the secret ruler. Just another wild day in the life of history's most unbelievably useless transmigrator. Meanwhile, in some place I knew nothing about, the Empress was having a total meltdown over my love life. Remember my drinking buddy? The secret Empress? Trust me, we are definitely going to want to see what happens next. Alright, you and I are diving in. She hit her palace, wrote down my drunken, stolen poem, and actually fell head over heels for it. The warrior Empress adores war poetry. Totally makes sense. Then she called her spy, demanding the full update on my current situation. That spy spilled everything. Chua Wang blocking the funeral march. That absolutely wild marrying 2 men speech. The brutal insults. Refusing to dismount her horse. All of it. The Empress immediately grabbed a priceless vase, smashing it hard on the floor. The absolute nerve. Blocking a funeral march on horseback? What is next? Riding directly into my actual throne room. She slammed the desk so hard, it literally snapped in half. Solid wood. Completely destroyed. The head eunuch looked ready to just pass out. The Xiao family gave her absolutely everything. Xiao Daling sacrificed an arm, saving her, and she repays them by insulting their widows and innocent orphans. Furious beyond belief, the Empress made ruthless executive decisions on the spot. First, she slashed Chuwang's reward money. The treasury was tight anyway. Then, she ordered her imperial scholars to draft a decree. The Chu family must return every single engagement coin, even if it completely bankrupts their entire house. Oh, and she quietly ordered her secret intelligence unit to investigate if my dad and brothers were actually taken out maliciously. So, the nation's most powerful person was personally handling my messy breakup drama, highly suspicious of foul play regarding my family's tragic passing. And I was totally clueless because I was at home trying to get filthy rich. Now watch closely, because you and I are hitting my most humiliating transmigration night ever. Stumbling home, completely wasted. I passed my eldest sister-in-law's room and spotted her using this painfully basic spinning wheel, an ancient, brutally slow caveman-era spinning wheel. Boom! A light bulb went off. Soap? Clueless. Glass? Nope. Cannot make it. But a modern spinning machine? I actually learned that in school. The spinning jenny, the flying shuttle, the literal industrial revolution. Finally, my education proved completely useful. I immediately sprinted back and drew furiously all night long. Spinning machine, weaving loom, both wildly improved designs that would easily multiply output 5 times. Hand painfully cramping, eyes burning, but by morning, possessed 2 completely finished master blueprints. I felt incredibly proud, practically skipping to hand this genius spinning machine design to my eldest sister-in-law, Jiang Rua. Big sis, you have to check this out. A brand new spinning machine. 1 day of work on this equals 5 whole days on your old setup. She stared at the blueprints, stared at me, then back at the blueprints. 10th brother, please stop messing around. I am incredibly busy. If I miss today's quota, second sister-in-law lacks thread to weave. Translation. Get out of here, you utterly useless boy. Adults are working. I took the weaving loom design straight to second sister-in-law. Exact same brutal reaction. Stop bothering me. Excuse me, I just sketched literal industrial revolution technology, and you tell me to go play? Honestly though, I cannot blame them. For a whole year, my daily schedule was just wake up, walk the dog, feed the birds, nap, and repeat. I carry the exact reputation of a completely spoiled rich kid who never earned 1 single coin. When I promised at the funeral to finally fix our money situation, everyone just smiled and nodded. Exactly. Like humoring a tiny toddler confidently claiming he will become a famous space astronaut. Fine then, I will absolutely prove them wrong. I found Mom. Do you know a good carpenter? I need these machines built. Mom checked the blueprints with the exact same confused expression everyone else had. Then she dropped something that made me facepalm incredibly hard. If you need the absolute best crafter around, did you seriously forget about your 6th sister-in-law? My 6th sister-in-law Imo Ching King, descendant of the Mahi school. Those legendary ancient engineers and absolute master craftsmen. You see that too, right? A literal mechanical genius lived here, and I completely forgot about her. I grabbed those master blueprints and sprinted straight to the back compound where she lives. She is super quiet, keeps entirely to herself, always hanging back there doing her own brilliant engineering thing. 6th sis, please check these. She wiped her hands, grabbed the blueprints, and her eyes instantly went completely wide. Her hands visibly started shaking. 10th brother, where did you get these? I drew them. Tell the truth. Why does nobody ever believe me? I swear on everything, I drew them myself. She studied the complex designs, nodding faster and faster. These are absolutely brilliant. The multi-spindle mechanism alone would easily increase thread output several times over. If we build both of these, the Shao family will never worry about money again. She confidently said she could build them in just 3 days. 3 days. I could have cried. After getting rejected by two sisters-in-law, totally ignored by everyone, and utterly failing to make soap or glass, someone finally recognized my sheer genius. Well, not exactly my genius. Some past British inventor's genius from a few hundred years in my old world's future. But in this world, it is all mine, baby. Patent pending. Xia Qin's totally original spinning machine. The comeback starts now. And trust me, while I kickstarted the Industrial Revolution in my backyard, the rest of the city erupted in a massive drama explosion. Stick with me here. We are kicking things off with 3 future brides and their absolutely furious fathers. General Su, a heavy-hitting second-rank military commander, basically short-circuited when his daughter wanted to marry me. No way. But Dad, I was already marrying into the Shah family. I'm just swapping brothers. The 7th son is gone. You have 0 ties to that family now. Fine. I will tie myself to the 10th son. I'm marrying him, period. He raised his hand for a slap, but she gave him that completely stubborn glare, and he froze. Instead, he said something super mysterious. There are things you cannot understand. Marrying into that family could ruin us completely. Ruin us? Wait. How? That is super suspicious, old man. What secret are you hiding from us? He finally barked. Go near the Shao house again, and you are no longer my daughter. Moving over to Hanxian's house. Way worse. Her dad, the vice minister of rights, heard this news and literally locked her in her room. Total house arrest. No leaving, no visitors, absolutely nothing. This is the exact same guy who used to brag non-stop about his daughter joining the famous Shao family. He never shut up. But now that we lost everything, he changed the locks. Zine was insanely mad. She was tearing up her own beautiful paintings, which for a top-tier artist is like completely losing her mind. She ordered her maid to sneak out and find Salingua for a grand rescue mission. My girl was actually plotting a massive jailbreak to marry me. I'm honestly not sure if I should be flattered or totally scared. Luo Wayne's house. The only great news. Dr. Luo actually supported her. Now, pay close attention here. He has been treating my injuries for a whole year. He knows a massive secret nobody else does. My broken condition might not be forever. He fully believes his medicine will work. And when it finally does, the genius martial artist everyone thought was gone will return. So Dr. Luo basically made a huge investment in his future son-in-law. Incredibly smart guy. I respect him. Now, let's discuss the other huge rival here. Funing Chua Wang's super precious new boyfriend. Wow, where do I even start with him? 3 years ago, this absolute clown came back from intense training, defeated 10 fighters in a row, and got a massive ego boost. So naturally, he marched straight to my door to challenge the #1 martial arts talent in the entire capital city. I destroyed him in one single move. Literally, one move. And instead of thinking, wow, I challenged the city's absolute best and lost, maybe I should train a lot harder, this absolute genius decided it was completely my fault. How dare I crush him so fast? I should have let him last 100 moves to save his precious face. By winning way too quickly, I was obviously trying to humiliate him. Total madness. You and I both know that makes 0 sense, right? Anyway, he promised eternal revenge on me. Then some super mysterious VIP picked him up and threw him into the military. And during the huge war against the Hunts, the exact same war where my family fell, he magically became the great hero. Super convenient timing, right? My entire family falls, and he gets all the glory. I am definitely filing that under extremely suspicious things to investigate later. But the absolute best part, the cherry on top, he was not just thrilled about winning. No way. He was most excited about stealing my fiancée. He was literally sitting at home packing engagement gifts, giggling like crazy about sending me a wedding invite just to completely rub it right in my face. He desperately wanted to watch me cry while he married my ex. This guy has the emotional maturity of a super vindictive 12-year-old. The Empress already approved. He actually used his huge war merits to request this marriage. His family thought he was completely insane for wasting military rewards, but he ignored them. Beating me was way more important to him than heavy gold. I live in his head completely rent-free. Now, here's the secret detail nobody knew back then. The Empress was quietly getting pure revenge on my exact behalf. Chua Wang's massive military reward got completely slashed. Normally, a 5th-rank general gets thousands in gold, mountains of silver, premium silk, and shiny pearls. Chung got some basic fabric, 10 pearls, and one single piece of coral. Done. That was the entire amazing reward. The Chu family just sat there staring at this pathetic little pile, thinking, is this a huge joke? Did they accidentally swap our royal delivery? Chua Wang's father was sweating buckets. Did you somehow deeply offend the powerful Empress? She was completely clueless. Just 2 days ago, the Empress was praising her constantly, calling her a woman who embarrasses all men. What changed? Oh, honey, what changed is that your Empress is secretly my drinking buddy, and she heard every awful thing you did at my family's funeral. You did not just insult the high throne, you offended her personally. And while the Chu family completely panicked over their tiny prize, my butler ran over. Young master, there are huge drums and loud gongs at the Chu estate. The imperial rewards finally arrived. My eyes lit up instantly. Big rewards meant money, and money meant they could finally pay me back. Leaving my sick sister-in-law, I sprinted out. Trust me, you and I are about to collect what is mine. You and I are about to witness the ultimate payback. Honey, I am home, and I brought receipts. I strutted into the Chu mansion with my butler, the account books, and an actual government official, just in case they tried any sneaky tricks. Yep, brought a judge because I know how these people operate. Chua Wang's dad, Chu Wang, instantly turned on the charm. Nephew, do not let money ruin our beautiful bond. Your family helped ours. We helped yours. We are one big happy family. Forget the money. Plus, the Empress approved Wang's marriage to Fu Qingqing. It is practically a royal command. She cannot refuse, but she will still marry you. 2 husbands. A total package deal. I just stared at him. Then he says, okay, I will give you my younger daughter, Chu Philo. Problem solved, right? Oh, that is rich. Let me get this straight. His youngest daughter has a serious illness that my family's doctor has been treating at a massive cost. So his master plan? Keep my engagement gifts, keep the borrowed cash, and dump his sick daughter on me so I pay for her meds. Absolute masterclass in pure shamelessness. Truly world-class audacity. If grifting were an Olympic sport, this guy would easily take gold. I did not even dignify that garbage with the response. Just nodded at my butler. Old L stepped up with the book like a prosecutor showing evidence. The Chu family borrowed exactly 118,000 taels. Every single entry is signed and stamped by your household. Please verify. Chua Wang's brother, Chu Shan, snatched the book and rapidly flipped through. Trust me, you want to watch this closely. His face went through 17 shades of pale. Then he tried ripping it up. Oh, Ashley mentioned, Magistrate Jiang is here. If you refuse to pay voluntarily, the court collects for me. Magistrate Jiang stepped forward, rocking his official hat and a heavy frown. Debts are debts. Pay up. Chu Xin's hand completely froze mid-rip. The whole family looked like they had swallowed sour lemons. See, they planned to use imperial rewards to clear debts. But thanks to the Empress secretly slashing Chua Wang's reward down to practically nothing, a detail I still had no clue about, they were totally broke. They had to sell shops and farmland. They had to call a property broker to liquidate assets right on the spot. My servants were absolutely loving this. My 2 maids, Cheyenne and Shoa, looked like they were binge-watching their favorite drama. These girls spent months hearing them call me trash while borrowing our money. Watching the Chu family reluctantly count out coins with miserable faces was literally their Super Bowl. Chu Wang looked like someone was physically ripping his very soul through his wallet. Every coin leaving his hand aged him 5 entire years. Finally, the massive debt was cleared, but I stayed put. Now you and I know. This is where it gets crazy. We are not done, I said. Everyone froze. Where are my engagement gifts? Chua Wang exploded. You broke off the engagement. By law, if the man cancels, the woman keeps the gifts. Read a book. She pointed right at me, veins popping everywhere. I was willing to marry you. You rejected me. Did I force your hand? You want those gifts back? In your dreams. I waited for her to finish screaming, then calmly turned to the magistrate. Sir, if the woman is unfaithful and causes the man to cancel the wedding, can the gifts be recovered? He nodded. Dalong law clearly states, if cancellation is caused by the woman's misconduct, at least half the gifts must absolutely be returned. Chua Wang went totally nuclear. Who says I was unfaithful? I offered to marry you. You said no. This is all your fault. You are disgusting. If you were a real man, you would stop being petty. She was doing her classic routine again, screaming insults, yet somehow playing the poor victim. Truly impressive stuff. Someone publish her playbook. How to borrow cash, dump someone at a memorial, and act like they wronged you. A true masterclass. Then her dad immediately jumped right in. Well said, Wang. And then the whole family piled on me. You gave those gifts willingly. Absolutely no refunds. What kind of man demands gifts back? Your late father would be so ashamed of you. General Shao was a great hero. How did he raise such a petty rat? They seriously invoked my late father to justify robbing his family while his passing was still recent. These people have zero bottom. You think you finally hit the absolute floor of their shamelessness. And they pull out a shovel and dig deeper. I frown. The engagement gifts were worth 200,000 taels, 100,000 in silver, plus another 100,000 in goods. Even half is an absolute fortune. But they clearly decided to go down swinging. They already sold everything to pay the debt. They literally could not pay me even if they wanted to. I was figuring out my next move when an imperial decree arrived. Everyone froze up. A palace messenger was standing right at the door. The Chu family's eyes lit up like bright lanterns. I could practically see the greedy thought bubbles popping over their heads. So what do you and I take from this? Karma has the best timing. Oh, you sweet, totally delusional people. Stick with me. You are about to witness pure magic. The royal messenger unrolled the scroll, reading in that classic squeaky tone. By royal decree, blah, blah, blah. The absolute ruler just heard about Xia Qin and Chua Wang ending their engagement. Once confirmed, the entire Chu family looked absolutely horrified. This was definitely not a fun little reward for them. It was total disaster. The empress ordered Chua Wang and her family to immediately return every single engagement gift to the Shao family. Do not hold back a single item. Handle this completely peacefully. So it is officially decreed right now. Boom. Total silence. Every Chu family member froze solid. Chua Wang kneeled there, looking completely stunned, like she just got slapped hard with a fish. General Chu, graciously accept this decree. The messenger nudged her, since she froze there awkwardly for way too long. Thank Her Majesty. She barely managed to squeeze those terrified words out. Honestly, I was totally shocked too. I had zero part in this. I never asked the Empress, nor did I even know how to get a private audience with her. But somehow, the Supreme Leader paused running an entire country just to personally force my awful ex-girlfriend's family to finally return all my precious belongings back to me right now. I had absolutely no clue why, but I definitely wasn't complaining. Chua Wang whipped around fiercely. You snitched to the Empress, didn't you? You trickster. I literally have no idea how this happened. But sure, let's roll with that. I sound way cooler having a direct private line to the royal throne. Her dad started having a massive mental breakdown. What do we do? What do we do? He aged 10 whole years in 10 seconds. They already sold their shops and farmland, covering debts. My engagement gifts were worth 20,000 taels of pure silver. They would have to sell their ancestral home and become homeless. For one gorgeous moment, I watched pure karma strike back in real time. Now, pay attention. this is where it gets absolutely wild. The butler rushed in screaming, "Master, General Fu brought all his engagement gifts. He is here to formally propose." Chu Weiming's face went from pure tragedy to full festival instantly. "Quick, welcome him." "No, I will go." The entire family stampeded outside like Fu Qinning was a hero, riding a massive wave of cash, which he basically was. He just strolled in, looking incredibly smug as ever. He spotted me, and his eyes flashed with pure hatred before flipping to a super cocky grin. Oh, he was absolutely loving this epic moment. Claiming my ex right in front of my face. This was his ultimate fantasy come true. Chua Wang instantly switched into full damsel mode. "Fu darling," she cooed, all soft and shy. She literally called him darling with playful sweetness. This girl was screaming like a monster 5 minutes ago. And now she is doing the cute anime girlfriend voice for this absolute clown. Fu Qinning looked ready to melt. Meanwhile, Chua Wang shot me a super smug look. "Take the family wealth, Xia Qin, but you will never, ever win my true romantic heart." "Ma'am, I do not want your heart. I want my money." Then it happened. You feel that, right? The moment making this day worth it. Chua Wang turned to her beloved Fu darling and spoke. "Sweetheart, the Empress ordered me to return Xia Qin's expensive engagement gifts. But we are completely broke, so let us just use your engagement gifts to pay." Fu Qining's face went from grinning big, straight to neutral, then to a massive frown, before completely dropping in pure shock. "Use my own gifts to pay him? Well, once you give them to me, they are mine, right? And I can do whatever I want with mine. Besides, you do not want me defying royal orders, right?" The man came here to show off before his rival, parading his massive wealth, rubbing my face in the fact he was marrying my girl. But now, his very own engagement gifts were about to be handed directly to me instead. This is poetry. This is absolute art. Shakespeare could never write this. Fu Qinning puffed his chest proudly, claiming his gifts were extremely generous. "Take whatever you need, big man." Such big talk. I sent my butler to count everything. "Young master, the total is 10,000 taels." 10,000. My gifts were worth 20,000. This guy arrived with half, bragging about being so generous. Chua Wang twitched visibly. I think she was doing the math on her market value and feeling insulted. I smiled my absolute warmest smile. "General Fu, that is short. But I appreciate the donation. I will take these 10,000 now. And you have exactly 3 days to find the other 10,000. If you cannot pay it all today, well, let's avoid thinking about such unpleasant things." I had my people immediately load his engagement gifts meant to impress his bride straight onto my personal carts. Then I turned around, still smiling broadly. "General Fu, thank you immensely for the generous gifts. Really, truly, from the bottom of my heart. Do not forget the remaining 10,000. I left. Behind me, I practically heard Fu Qining's stress levels spiking up to extremely critical heights. The man arrived a conquering hero, and left as my absolute involuntary sponsor. He came to steal my fiancée, but instead funded my family's survival. He wanted to watch me cry. So what do you and I learn here? I left with his money and his pride. Xia Qin won, Fu negative infinity. Brilliant. Best day ever. After rolling out of the Chu estate with their cash and his fancy engagement gifts piled high on my carts, I really wished I could see the fallout. Luckily for me, gossip travels lightning fast in this city. Let's dive in together. Picture this. Fu Qingqing, sitting in their living room, brain totally buffering, trying to process how his grand proposal ended with 0 gifts, 0 dignity, and absolutely no clue what just happened to his entire life. And Chu Weiming, bless her totally shameless heart, didn't even let the poor guy finish his tea before begging for more cash. About that 10,000 taels. We are broke. Can you pay it? Fu Qingqing literally spit out his tea, sprayed it right across the table. You want me to pay the rest too? That is when Weiming activated full girlfriend mode. She grabbed his hand, tracing tiny circles on his palm. I'm absolutely not joking. She whispered that once they got married, she would make it totally worth it, reminding him of his huge crush since their army days. This dude was getting seduced into paying my massive bill. My ex-fiancée was using total charm to squeeze cash out of her new guy just to pay me. I seriously could not write a comedy this amazing. Chinking's logic completely lost to his feelings here. He agreed to pay it, but with conditions. He demanded 15 whole days instead of just 3. Plus, he wanted me to attend their wedding to collect the cash. Why the wedding? Because this incredibly petty guy wanted to watch me suffer while marrying my girl. He wanted a front row seat to my total heartbreak. Oh, buddy, I will gladly attend that wedding, grab my 10,000 taels, eat your food, and leave smiling. You think watching you marry Wayne hurts? That is literally like threatening me with the free comedy show. Wayne loved the idea too. She wanted to prove what I was missing. She actually believed I would show up, see her glowing dress, and just collapse crying. Watch closely, because these two totally deserve each other. But here is the absolute best part. The moment Chinking finally realized what he actually signed up for, Wayne casually mentioned her entire family was completely broke. 0 savings, 0 property. Absolutely nothing left. The Chu family was just a financial black hole, producing literally nothing but pure audacity. Chinking's face turned completely green. He went there thinking he bagged a rising military star. Instead, he basically just adopted an entire family of freeloaders. The guy was doing frantic mental math, and every single number was negative. Welcome to the Chu family experience, General Fu. Enjoy your stay, because there are 0 refunds. Back home, I walked through the door and yelled, "Grandma, your absolute favorite grandson is back." My butler Lufu gave everyone a full play-by-play of the Chu family showdown, complete with totally dramatic reenactments. His impression of Wayne's panicked expression had the whole room absolutely howling. Even the ladies who had been weeping all week were finally laughing. It felt amazing. The heavy, dark cloud over our household finally lifted just a little. Grandma smiled and told Mom to notify all the families of our lost soldiers. They could come collect support funds every single month. These men were lost protecting our family. We take care of their people now, period. Not a single woman in that room objected. These ladies were barely eating enough themselves. Yet they unanimously agreed to share our wealth with thousands of struggling military families. I stood there doing the math and started quietly panicking. You and I know, 20,000 taels sounds huge. But funding monthly stipends for thousands of widows, plus feeding our giant household, that massive pile of cash would evaporate like morning dew. I desperately needed more income streams. The spinning machines would definitely help, but they take time to generate real profit. I needed something immediately. Mom, hand over those 2 shop deeds. Keep the cash. She glared at me suspiciously. What do you need shops for? Business stuff. She followed me right to the door, grabbing my sleeve. You are not going to sell them and blow the money partying, are you? Mom, I'm trying to save our family. And you think I'm going out? I used to be irresponsible, but not anymore. Trust me. She finally let go, but I felt her intense gaze boring into my back, walking away. Honestly, fair enough. A year ago, I was literally just walking dogs and feeding birds for fun. Trust is totally earned. Next morning, my maid Sean and I headed out to inspect the new properties. Time to see what I was working with, study this market, and figure out how to turn these basic shops into an absolute money printer. Because here is the wild reality. I have a grandmother, mom, 6 sisters-in-law, 3 potential fiancés, 2 maids, a butler, a huge household of servants, and roughly 3,000 military families counting on me. No pressure. Stick with me, and let's see how this capital city actually works. North side, the palace. East side, officials. South side, rich people. And west side, regular folks. The shop they gave me sits right on the border between rich and poor. Basically the ultimate economic sweet spot. They kept their luxurious south side store and tossed me the one next to the commoners. Classic Chu family move right there. Even when paying debts, they find a way to be incredibly petty. Stick with me here. Honestly, the spot wasn't bad at all. 2 busy streets crossing perfectly. I could absolutely work with this. I spent the whole morning scouting the rival shops in the area. Fabric stores, silk merchants, clothing dealers. About a dozen of them, all selling the exact same stuff in the exact same boring way. Zero innovation, zero creativity. It was literally copy and paste. My maid Sean watched me sprinting from shop to shop, muttering to myself, and finally had to ask, "Master, you selling fabric too?" I grinned back. "Not just fabric. I'm going to build the fashion capital of this entire city. I will create the trends, define the style. I am talking about building a whole new fashion scene." The fashion scene? You will understand later. She looked at me like I had been drinking again. I get that look a lot. Next stop, our family's main shop, the brocade pavilion down south. My third sister-in-law, Zhao Wan, was running it. We were not even close when the yelling started. "Yusha family people treat us like absolute garbage. We demand a raise." "No raise, no work. We are done." "Oh great. A labor strike. Just what I needed today." I pushed through the angry crowd and found workers blocking the door. The ringleader? Jiang Tao, a veteran dye master who had worked at our shop for years. He was demanding a raise of 10 taels per person every month, threatening to walk if we said no. My third sister-in-law was nearly in tears trying to negotiate. "Jiang, you have been with us forever. The family has always treated you well. Please do not do this now." Jiang Tao actually looked a tiny bit guilty, but he stood his ground. "I made a new dyeing technique. Pay up, or we leave. Now pay close attention, because something felt off." This timing was too convenient. My family literally just lost everything. We finally squeezed money from the Chu family, and suddenly, these guys demand a massive raise. On the exact same day, I stepped right out of the crowd. "You want 10 extra taels per person? Are you completely out of your minds? Pay them what we owe for this month," and kicked them out. My third sister-in-law frantically grabbed my arm. "What are you doing? They know all our dyeing secrets. Without them, we are finished." The workers looked totally shocked. They expected a house full of widows to just fold immediately. Instead, I just fired every single one of them. Jiang Tao puffed up. "Fine, you said it, not us. Let us go, boys. Do not come crying when your shop collapses." And they marched out like they won something. My sister-in-law stared at me in absolute horror. "You just let our entire workforce walk right out. They hold our dyeing secrets. What are we supposed to do now?" "Relax. I will make the dyes myself. Better ones, actually." She looked at me exactly the way a doctor looks at a patient who just announced they are doing their own surgery. Jane was standing right behind me, biting her lip, trying so incredibly hard not to speak her mind. Being my personal maid, she knew my exact skill set. Walking dogs, feeding birds, drinking tea, and taking long naps. Dyeing fabric was definitely not on that list. "Just close the shop for a few days," I said. "When my new dyes are ready, we will reopen and business will boom." My third sister-in-law looked like she wanted to cry and strangle me simultaneously. She silently dragged herself to the back room to finish the half-done work. "Those deserters. Abandoned. I know what you are thinking. And yeah, it gets crazier. The entire strike was a dirty setup. Jiang Tao led those workers straight to the Chu family's rival shop, the Silk Cloud Pavilion. Chua Weng's cousin was standing right there waiting for them with open arms, practically rolling out a red carpet. The Chu family masterminded this entire thing. They poached our workers, stole our dyeing techniques, and planned to completely crush our business into dust. And behind the Chu family was Mr. Petty Revenge himself. After I seized his engagement gifts yesterday, that guy went home, begged his family for money, and launched this massive plot to destroy my shop. He was the one who told Jiang Tao to start trouble. He figured without dye workers, our shop dies, and we go completely broke. And then, I seriously wish I was making this up. He planned to swoop in as a generous savior and seduce my sisters-in-law. That was his actual grand plan. Bankrupt us, then hit on my family. Let me repeat that so it really sinks in. This absolute creep's revenge strategy was financially ruining a house full of war widows. just to try and sleep with them. He was sitting in his living room acting like a literal cartoon villain, fantasizing about playing with my sisters-in-law once we hit rock bottom. This guy right here, he is not just my enemy. He is a genuinely terrible human being. I thought our rivalry was just about me beating him 3 years ago, but no, he is straight up pure evil. But here is the one massive thing Fu Qinqing and the Chu family missed. I am not from this world. They think dyeing fabric is some highly guarded ancient secret that takes years to master. They think without Jiang Tao, I am helpless. They have no clue. I know modern chemistry and middle school color theory. And trust me, you are going to want to see what happens next. Making soap? Total fail. Making glass? Zero idea. But fabric dye is pure chemistry, and that I remember. This fashion revolution kicks off in 3 days. Stick with me, because those fools aren't ready. While I'm building a fashion empire, Su Lingua was dealing with a massive family crisis back home. Her father completely lost it. He banned our marriage, already picked out some random new husband, accepted their expensive engagement gifts, and was basically ready to ship her out like a parcel delivery without even giving her a heads up. Lingua's reaction? She grabbed a pen, a letter cutting all ties with the Su family, packed her bags, snatched her maid, and literally vaulted the wall. She escaped her own home like an absolute boss, right over the wall in broad daylight, all just to come and marry me instead. Honestly, I'm stuck between flattered and terrified that girls keep pulling these crazy stunts for my sake. I'm a guy who literally ruins soap. What is even happening? She didn't head straight to my place, though. She actually rounded up the other 2 girls first, because apparently, when you stage a massive romantic rebellion against your parents, you bring the whole squad. Meanwhile, back at the Xia mansion, I was locked in my room sketching qipaos. Yes, qipaos. Those stunning, form-fitting dresses from my old world that make any girl look like a masterpiece. Straight hemlines, wide cuts, elegant fishtail styles, and even full formal gowns. I sketched every style I could possibly remember. Thank goodness I paid attention in high school art class. My drawings actually resembled real clothes instead of terrifying scribbles. Huge win. My maid Shan watched me draw, tilting her head like a lost puppy. Master, are those ladies' outfits? Before I could speak, I got summoned to the main hall. I walked in and guys, you know the look my mom gave me. Pure danger. Every single mom has it. The expression that screams, I love you, but I will end you right now. Did you go to the brocade pavilion and chase off all our workers? Third sister-in-law Zhao Yashuan stood right behind her, arms crossed, glaring at me like I was trash. Mom, they were completely scamming us. 10 taels per person monthly. That is pure robbery. So your genius plan was firing everyone? We could have easily negotiated that price. Now, we have 0 workers, ruined fabric everywhere. And your third sister-in-law is doing the heavy lifting alone. Mom was completely losing it. I felt bad. She had stayed awake for days stressing over our finances, counting pennies, panicking over how to feed this massive family of ours. She was thrilled when I secured that massive payout from the Chu family, thinking her son was finally maturing. Then I instantly wrecked our only actual business. Mom, just trust me here. Close up for 3 days. When we reopen, it will be the absolute hottest shop in this entire city. Mom looked ready to completely explode. I could practically hear her thoughts shouting. This kid's only real skill was fighting, and his cultivation is gone. He spent an entire year walking random dogs, and now he plays businessman? I'm going insane. She did not even try arguing back. She simply ordered third sis to hire some cheap replacement workers from the agency, entirely ignoring my epic business pitch. Third sis shot me one final deadly glare as she walked out. The exact look meaning, you are the absolute root of my misery. Harsh, but they will see. Oh, and Mom also mentioned the Chu family begged for 15 days to repay those 10,000 taels instead of 3. And she agreed. You saw that coming, right? We should have squeezed them way harder. They cannot gather that much in 3 days. We won. Let it go. She spoke so softly, and I definitely caught that painful look of sheer pity in her eyes. She totally thought I was lashing out from being heartbroken over chewing. She assumed firing those workers was just a childish tantrum. Nope, I'm not heartbroken here. I'm strategizing. Massive difference. But fighting your mom is a guaranteed loss in any era. So I dropped it and dashed off to find my fourth and fifth sisters-in-law. Behold, the Xia family production line. First sis handles spinning thread. Second sis weaves the fabric. Third sis runs our shop. Fourth and fifth are sewing legends. Sixth sis, a mechanical engineering prodigy. I showed my keep-out designs to fourth and fifth sis. Their eyes bulged. They had never seen anything so bold, but their creative instincts kicked in instantly. They knew deep down these designs would look absolutely flawless. They agreed to sew samples immediately. Now, the dye problem. Everyone thought I was totally bluffing when I promised to handle the colors myself. My maid thought I was completely crazy. My mom assumed I was having a breakdown. Third, sis thought I was actively destroying our family. But here is my epic secret weapon. I once toured a silk museum. I know, not exactly the most thrilling weekend adventure, but it was a mandatory field trip. Watch closely. They had a hands-on ancient dyeing exhibit, and I actually learned it. Time to mix and dip. I check out their process. Dyeing here is super primitive. Just mashing plants and dunking cloth for dull colors. They fade fast, looking sad. But stick with me, we are about to change everything. You add alum or green vitriol to the dye bath, and boom. Colors pop like high definition. Brighter, richer. And they actually last. Just one extra ingredient, but it is the difference between a flip phone and a smartphone. So, here is the master plan. Sixth sis builds the super spinning machines and looms. First and second sis make fabric 5 times faster. I dye using my superior mordant technique. Fourth and fifth sis sew these into never-before-seen Chio designs. Third sis sells them at both shops. The Chu family thinks stealing our workers means they won. Funing thinks my business is finished. Clueless. They just removed my weakest links, giving me the perfect excuse to rebuild with tech 1,000 years ahead of anything they have ever seen. A massive fashion revolution is coming soon to the capital. 3 days later, showtime. Sixth sister-in-law Mo Ching King delivered exactly what she had promised. The spinning machine and weaving loom were completely built, assembled, and ready. Beautiful craftsmanship and absolute peak engineering. I almost hugged the machines. I called every woman to her courtyard. Every single one of them. Grandma, Mom, all 6 sisters-in-law, the maids. Absolutely everybody. Why? Because I am completely done being the family mascot. The useless pet everyone just feeds, but expects absolutely nothing from. Now watch closely. Every woman here saw a useless kid eating snacks. You and I will flip the script. Big sis, remember those blueprints I showed you? The ones you told me to stop annoying you with? They are built. Try them. First and second sis exchanged a look. The classic let us humor the idiot stare. Grabbing materials, they climbed onto the machines, fumbling around a bit to figure out controls. The rest of the women stood around like watching a circus act, fully expecting another one of my embarrassing failures. But then, the machine started moving and going and going. Thread was flying, fabric forming instantly. The speed was absolutely insane compared to their old equipment. First, sis stared at hands like they were possessed. Second sis looked totally spooked. The crowd went dead silent. Everyone's jaws collectively hit the floor. How is it so fast? First sister-in-law finally believed. 5 days of work in 1 day. I said that 3 days ago, and she shooed me away. Now, she sat there looking like she just discovered fire. Mom's eyes lit up. Scaling this up could change everything for our family. Yes, thank you. That is what I said. I know what you're thinking, victory, right? Nope. Third sis Zhao Yashuan killed the vibe. Faster fabric? So what? Nobody here buys plain fabric. Everyone wants color. Without good dyes, all this new fabric just sits in storage, collecting dust. The room deflated like a popped balloon. She was right, and everyone knew it. In Dalong, Wearing plain undyed fabric is like hitting a party in pajamas. Nobody does it. The original fabric is not even white. It is this ugly yellowish color that literally screams. I gave up entirely. Third, sis spent the last 3 solid days running to every single employment agency in the city, trying to hire dye workers. She came back empty-handed every time, utterly crying about it. So, yeah, she had massive feelings about the dyeing situation. I smiled, pulling a piece of red cloth from my robe. Third sis, thoughts on this? She took it, glanced at it, and completely froze. Her eyes went incredibly wide, breathing getting fast, hands physically trembling. This was not just regular red. This was absolutely red. The kind of vibrant red that grabs your attention and refuses to let go. Deep, vivid, and practically glowing in the brilliant sunlight. Every fabric shop in the city sold red cloth that looked like someone vaguely waved a sad beat near it. This was like comparing a tiny candle to the blazing sun. Where did you get this? She stammered. I made it. Stop joking around. Who? You must know some master dye craftsman. Please tell me who it is. We absolutely need to hire them immediately. I have never seen red like this anywhere. This person must be a genius. We will pay whatever they want. Then every woman in the room started yelling, yes. Who is this master? Bring them here. This red is incredible. How is this even possible? We will pay anything. They passed my red cloth around like it was a holy artifact. Everyone talking at once, voices getting higher. I finally understood that internet joke about one woman equaling 500 ducks. 10,000 ducks quacking until silence hit. You and I are definitely hooked now. Stick with me here. Mom grabs the cloth, silences the entire room with her sheer authority, and looks at me dead serious. Who made this dye? She wants to personally invite this master to work for us. Oh, Mom. My sweet, sweet mom. The woman who just watched me flop at everything for a year. Even right now, holding literal proof of my skills, she simply could not believe it was me. Mom, I made that dye. Me, your son, the guy standing right in front of you. Nobody believed me. Not a single person. Fine. Just watch. I step inside, grab all my ingredients, and start making the dye right there. Mix the plant extracts, tossed in the mordant alum, the secret sauce for popping colors. Heated it up, stirred it around perfectly. 1 hour later, a fresh batch of brilliant red dye sits in the pot. Absolute silence. Every woman is staring like I just turned water into gold. These exact same ladies thought I was just a useless troublemaker ruining the family business. 3 days ago, third sister-in-law looks like she wants the ground to swallow her. She had been trashing me endlessly, rolling her eyes at every promise. Now, she is standing there watching me casually whip up dye better than anything sold in the entire capital. The others stare like they have never seen me before. Honestly, they have not. They only knew dog-walking Zhao Chen, bird-feeding Zhao Chen, and constantly napping Zhao Chen. This is the new Zhao Chen, showing literal proof. Mom's eyes start getting watery. I can see the gears turning in her head. A new spinning machine, a new loom, now this dye. All happening after my split with Chu Wang. Her logic? The heartbreak completely shocked me into being competent. She is not entirely wrong. Now watch closely. Getting dumped at my dad's passing is motivating, sure. But the real reason? I am from the future, Mom. I just visited a museum once and paid close attention. But sure, let us go with heartbreak. Made him a genius. That makes a much better story. Anyway, after that dye demonstration, every single woman here looks at me differently. Like, completely transformed. 3 days ago, I was the useless dog walker. Now, I am the surprisingly capable guy who might actually save this entire family. Some of the ladies who trash-talked me behind my back look genuinely guilty right now. Good. Keep that same energy. Next time I promise something, and you roll your eyes. Anyway, Mom gets practical super fast. She asks sixth sister how much mass-producing the machines costs. Moking does some quick math. About 80 taels per spinning machine. 100 per loom. That is 180 taels for just one set. The room goes completely quiet. Huge money for a rationing family. Then Grandma speaks up. She offers her gold and silver jewelry to sell. Mom immediately protests. Those were precious gifts from Grandpa, but Grandma shuts her down. I am old. I need my family fed, not necklaces. Then one by one, every woman offers up their own jewelry too. Take mine. Sell these. I never even liked those earrings. Take my bracelet. It just collects dust. They are smiling, but I can clearly see the truth in their eyes. These are not just accessories. They are gifts from their late husbands, their last physical memories, and they are willingly giving them up. I clear my throat loudly before the room turns into a crying waterfall. Nobody is selling anything. The Chu family still owes us 100,000 taels. That covers everything. If not, I will figure something out. Keep your jewelry. Your husbands gave those to you, so you keep them. End of discussion. The Zhao family is not falling while I am here. For the first time ever, nobody laughs. Nobody rolls their eyes. You feel that shift, right? They just look at me, actually believing my words for once. Major progress. That night, something totally wild happens, completely behind my back. Su Linghua, the ninja girl who vaulted her own family's wall, has actually been hiding at Lu Weining's house for days. The three girls promised to visit my house together on the 5th day, but Han Zun is still totally locked up by her dad. So what do these two absolute lunatics do? They sneak over to the Han family compound at night like stealthy cat burglars. Linghua presses against the wall, whispering, "You absolutely sure about this? This feels so illegal." Weining whispers back, "You literally escaped your home by jumping a wall. Do not get picky now." Linghua hops the wall, creeps through the Han estate, and finds Zun crying in her room over a painted portrait of my 8th brother. "Are you coming or not?" Zun does not hesitate. She grabs a pen, writing a letter to her father, probably saying, "I am leaving. Do not look for me. You brought this on yourself." She packs her maid and escapes into the night. 3 women from powerful families, all sneaking through the absolute darkness to marry the guy nobody else wanted. I know you feel it too. Epic movie music should be blasting right now. Meanwhile, over in the villain corner, Chu Wang and Fu Qining are having a cozy evening together, making out, being totally disgusting, and planning my complete destruction. Qining tries taking things further. Chu Wang stops her. "No, we wait until the wedding. Let's dive right in." She had 0 issues hooking up before our wedding, just for family support. But with Fu Xinqing, her supposed true love, suddenly, she is all about tradition and respect. Make it make sense. I dare you. Then she asked about the remaining 100,000 taels. His family basically went completely broke gathering that cash. This guy was paying my bill to marry a woman using him. Then these two actually started bragging about totally ruining my life. Fu Xinqing bragged about closing the brocade pavilion. Kua Shuang was literally just squealing with total joy. "That was you? Oh darling, you are amazing." She happily imagined my family going totally broke, dreaming about us begging, actually laughing at war widows and orphans ending up completely homeless. Then her expression dropped. She realized returning those 100,000 taels meant Xia Qin gets rich. Unacceptable. She leaned closely into Fu Xinqing's ear and whispered a shady new scheme. He grinned, kissing her. So brilliant. She flashed a cold little smile. If he is heartless, I am too. The happy couple cuddled up, plotting to destroy grieving widows and orphans whose men fell bravely defending the nation. What a pair! Absolute matching sets of garbage humans. Now watch closely. I did not know their plan yet, but we will find out soon. That is fine. They thought they were scheming against dog-walking Xia Qin. They had 0 clue they were facing the Industrial Revolution. Fashion Empire Xia Qin. Bring it on, psychos. So, I was just sleeping peacefully, minding my own business, dreaming about cool dye formulas. Suddenly, my mom violently shook me awake and dragged me into the main hall. The 3 girls were there. Su Ling Shur, Hanzi Yun, and Lu Weining were standing in our living room in the middle of the night with packed bags. "We are getting married tonight, right now." I blinked, looked at mom, looked at grandma, then back at the girls. Excuse me. Mom and the women tried talking sense into them. This is way too sudden. We need to prepare. There is no banquet, absolutely no witnesses, just no. Tonight? Su Lingua crossed her arms. No delays. We do this right now. Apparently, she and Hanzi Yun worried that waiting meant their families would drag them straight back. Hanzi Yun escaped house arrest like a fugitive. Su Lingua literally jumped over her family wall and wrote a letter, completely disowning herself. These girls were running on fugitive energy, entirely skipping the whole wedding planning mood. So we did it. 3 brides, 1 groom, 0 preparation. The most chaotic wedding in the history of weddings. And then, oh boy, Su Lingua boldly announced she wanted to fully consummate the marriage tonight. Immediately, Hanzi Yun, being a refined lady, blushed and said she would wait. Luo, waning also, gracefully stepped aside. But Lingua, the fierce warrior girl, was on a mission. She made up her mind, and nothing on earth was stopping her from making this marriage incredibly official and irreversible. Let that sink in for a second. I was trapped in a bedroom with the gorgeous warrior, aggressively determined to make this union completely permanent. Miss Su, are you really? I am your wife right now. Stop calling me Miss Su, but technically nobody outside the house knows. We announced it to the entire city at your dad's funeral. Thousands of witnesses. You want to back out now? No, definitely not backing out. Good. She just blew out the candle. What happened next? Look, I am a true gentleman, keeping it classy, but let me paint a picture here. This woman is an absolute martial artist. She trained her body since childhood. She has legs that look exactly like they were perfectly sculpted by the gods themselves. Long, beautifully toned. Not an ounce extra, proportioned so perfectly that in my old world, she would literally crash the internet. She ripped my clothes off, literally tearing them like thin paper. Then she stared at me and boldly said, "Ugly." She called it ugly. I laughed. Give it 5 minutes. You will change your mind. And then we rolled onto the bed. Now, here is the thing nobody warned me about. Being with a warrior woman when you are a guy with broken meridians and the physical constitution of a wet noodle is basically signing up for a game over. Honey, slow down. Your husband is fragile. Can we please take a break? I am fading away. She was totally relentless. Relentless. There is an old poem that goes something like, "A beauty soft as silk, with a sword at her waist, cuts down the foolish man. His head stays on, but his bones turn to dust." That is exactly what happened to me. Afterward, she lay in my arms, cheek still completely flushed. I asked weakly, "Still ugly?" She huffed and said nothing, but I felt her getting restless all over again. Trust me on this one. I have broken energy channels. I barely survived round 1. Stick with me here. Morning arrived. The sun was high. I woke up feeling trampled by a horse. My back screamed, and my legs were jelly. Every single joint in my body filed a formal complaint. Meanwhile, Lu was outside doing her intense boxing practice. After all that happened last night, this girl woke up at dawn, starting her workout routine like it was just a casual Tuesday. Meanwhile, I could barely sit up in bed. I need my cultivation back immediately, or this amazing woman will literally crush me with her love. During breakfast, Zun and Waning excitedly pulled Ling Shua aside to ask her exactly how it went. Their whispering and giggling was so incredibly loud. It basically sounded like shouting. But earlier, Lingua told me something super important. The passing of your father and brothers. Something feels wrong. She explained how her dad strongly opposed our marriage, claiming it would bring massive disaster to the Su family. Plus, Zun's dad actually locked her up. 2 powerful families, both suddenly terrified of being associated with the Shia name. Doesn't that seem super suspicious? She said someone powerful is orchestrating this. Someone your family probably crossed. My heart completely turned to ice. My dad was top general. Only royals ranked higher. Was it a prince inside the palace? Were my family taken out? Watch closely. This changes everything. Lingua held my hand. That is why we rushed the wedding. We needed it done before anybody could stop us. And from now on, I am your bodyguard. Anyone wanting to hurt you goes through me first. I tightly squeezed her hand. I will never betray you, she smirked. You wouldn't dare. I could beat you up with one single hand. But she really isn't wrong. After breakfast, I headed straight to the river pavilion to meet my buddy Wang Le, the one who is secretly the empress of the entire nation, which I still had absolutely no clue about. Wang, bro, I have a big business opportunity for you. I laid out my whole plan. The machines, the dyes, the huge fashion revolution. Then I hit him with my final pitch. Invest in me. When profits roll in, we split 70-30. I get 70. Wang Li looked at me coolly. You are just broke and need cash, right? Are you investing or not? Didn't you just get money from the Chu family? I mumbled something about not receiving the full amount yet. I completely left out that I gave most of the cash to soldiers' widows. A guy has to keep some mystery. How much do you need? 100,000 taels. Wang Li nearly choked. I saw pure panic behind those pretty eyes. What I didn't know was that the national treasury was basically running empty. This rich young guy was actually the ruler of a broke country. He had already dipped into royal personal savings just to keep the lights on. The Empress of Dalong was as strapped for cash as I was. Beautiful. After bargaining, he offered 50,000 at 80-20, 2 shares for him. Deal. I jumped up, casually slapped him on the shoulder like we were drinking buddies, which we totally were, and said, I knew you were a real one. Send it tomorrow. And I walked off. What I didn't see behind the pavilion, the imperial bodyguard, secretly protecting the empress, had his hand on his sword. All because I just casually shoulder slapped the most powerful person in the country. One day, I'll find out Wang Li is the empress. You and I both know I'll need to sit down for a very long time. But today I have 50,000 taels of investment capital secured. 3 wives who would literally fight armies for me. A fashion empire ready to launch. And enemies who have no idea what is going to hit them. The plan is cooking, and business is about to be booming. I was strolling back to the courtyard when I heard voices from inside. My 3 beautiful wives were having a little chat. Zun, you can let Ling Shua have tonight again. I am not ready yet. Oh, great. They were discussing the bedroom schedule, like a literal timeshare, but for my body. Then I heard Link say, don't worry about him hurting you. He is so weak. Last night, I had him begging for mercy. He couldn't even get up. You should have seen his face. It was totally hilarious. She was in there completely roasting me. To my other 2 wives on day 1 of our marriage. Ma'am, I was a total gentleman last night. I was tender, and you were out here telling everyone I got dominated like a baby deer fighting a tiger. Where is the loyalty? I mean, yes, it happened exactly like that. But the sheer betrayal of sharing that information. I was about to storm in and defend my honor when Butler Lu came running in, completely panicked. Young Master, General Su is here, and Vice Minister Han. They are in the main hall loudly screaming that we kidnapped their daughters. Oh no. I sprinted to the hall. The girls ran behind me. Trust me, watch what happens next. Inside, it was a total war zone. General Su, she's dad, a huge, scary military man, was standing in the middle of our hall like an angry bear. He pointed fingers at Grandma and Mom. Your family lured my daughter. She doesn't know what she is doing. Beside him, Hansen's dad was equally furious. What kind of spell did you people cast on my daughter? She abandoned her own family for this. Meanwhile, Mom looked like she was completely about to explode. Grandma's face could literally freeze lava. Then Lingua burst in ahead of me. Dad, I married him. It is done. Go home. General Su turned red. What is so great about this family? He screamed about our lack of money. Now, stick with me here, this gets absolutely wild. He raised a warrior daughter, and this was her payback? Mom completely lost it with pure fury. My son isn't useless. His potential goes beyond your imagination. General Su laughed. Beyond imagination? The entire city knows your boy is a joke. He glared at me with absolute disgust. Am I wrong, Xia Qin? Right then, I saw the hidden truth inside his eyes. This man didn't actually despise my family. He was just terrified of whoever was targeting us. General Su was scared enough to publicly humiliate his own son-in-law, desperately trying to pull his daughter from danger. Honestly, though, I did not care about his excuses. He stood inside my house, calling me entirely useless before my whole family. The very morning after my wedding night, I boldly stepped forward, walked right past him straight into the center of the hall, hands clasped behind my back. Now pay close attention. I am about to drop a line so unbelievably legendary. Millions of fans literally have this exact quote burned into their memories forever. 30 years on the East Bank, 30 years on the West. Never look down on a young man simply because he is poor right now. Silence. Total and absolute. You could hear pins drop. Every single woman in the hall stared at me with sparkling eyes, like I just pulled a legendary sword from the stone. Lingua watched me, and I swear her pupils morphed into little hearts. Zun kept repeating my words to herself over and over, and I saw real tears forming. She confessed later that it completely reminded her of something my legendary eighth brother always said. Waning covered her mouth, staring at me like the old genius martial artist version of myself had. Finally stepped right back into the room again. General Su stood there, entirely frozen, like a stun spell hit him. The smirk vanished. His brain scrambled to calculate. Why is this weak kid suddenly so confident? Does he know some secret? Is his cultivation returning? But ultimately, fear easily conquered his curiosity. He stared at his daughter one last time. Come home immediately. If you stay, our family is doomed. Lingua proudly stood tall. I am already married. We made it official last night. I am his woman. I am staying. General Su looked like his head might literally explode. His precious warrior daughter, his ultimate pride and joy, just declared she slept with the city's biggest loser and was absolutely staying. Fine, then I no longer have a daughter. He furiously stormed out. Next, Hanzun's dad. Her father offered one final chance. I'm already married, Dad. Just go home. Vice Minister Han was quickly calculating the risks as well. His logic was purely financial. He totally lost his connection to the glorious Shao family. Now, his daughter refused to leave. Plus, some insanely powerful enemy was lurking around. This was a terrible deal from every single angle. You're on your own. He vanished. Now, I need you to look closely at my three amazing wives. These women surrendered absolutely everything. Their families, their ultimate safety, their reputations. Lingua was completely disowned. Zun was disowned. Only Weianing still had her father's backing. A lump formed in my throat. You guys, you really did not have to do this. My family is a total mess. You didn't need to join this disaster. Lingua's face snapped to pure annoyance. Excuse me, are you trying to reject us? We're married. We finished the ceremony. I gave you my everything. Wait, I am absolutely not rejecting anyone. Then stop saying we didn't have to. Zun crossed her arms. Are you trying to back out? Weianing added softly. My dad fully approved. I'm staying willingly. I stared at all three of them. These absolutely incredible, insane, bold, and slightly terrifying girls who destroyed their old lives just to stand beside me while the entire world ran away. I took a deep breath, speaking with pure sincerity for once. If you never betray me, I will never betray you. A promise for life. Lingua smirked. You couldn't betray me even if you tried. I would break both your legs. And honestly, after last night, I entirely believed her. I woke up the next morning feeling like my soul was extracted straight through my kneecaps. Su Lingua, that absolute savage, actually suggested the other two girls should come watch us last night, just to learn. Her exact pitch was, come watch him beg for mercy. Hilarious. She actually wanted to turn our private bedroom into a live spectator sport. Thank every single god above that. The other two were way too embarrassed to come. I would have passed out. Not a joke. Literally faded away from pure shame, total exhaustion, or both. I tried acting like the boss, but she instantly humbled me again. Those legs should legally be classified as devastating weapons of war. New rule, No sharing a room with Lingua until my cultivation power fully returns. I seriously need superpowers just to survive this marriage. But the morning improved fast. Wangla's messenger arrived holding 50,000 taels in shiny banknotes. My mysterious investor, secretly the actual empress, though I didn't know yet, totally delivered. I rushed those notes straight to Mom. Here, hire craftsmen, buy materials, and mass-produce machines. Where did you get this cash? A friend invested. They get 20% equity when this business skyrockets. Mom was totally confused. What is equity? I already vanished. What do you and I learn here? Always be the visionary CEO, or the guy working. Stick with me, you are about to see this incredible sisterhood deliver everything. These brand new machines ran perfectly, pouring out endless fabric. One sister spinning, another weaving, the third managing, while 4 and 5 handled all sewing. The improved tools were super simple to master, and quickly every woman jumped in to help out. Even his 3 new wives helped out. Our hero happily supervised with tea. Zero complaints, since he is the sole male heir. No manual labor for him, they excitedly insisted. What a truly amazing family. Meanwhile, those foolish enemies were plotting something absolutely hilarious for us, but totally terrible and disastrous for them. Just one day before the massive wedding, the Chu family threw a celebration. Why? Because those fired trader workers, led by Zhang Tao, accidentally created something incredibly valuable inside the rival Chu family shop. Zhang Tao had a lucky relative living by the ocean who sent over some decorative seashells as gifts. He noticed hidden purple pigment inside them, then figured out how to extract it and dye beautiful fabric. Back then, purple was the ultimate holy grail of dyes, almost impossible to make. The older versions were dull and faded incredibly fast. But this seashell purple was bright, vivid, and long-lasting. A game changer, and the Chu family completely lost their minds with excitement. This was their golden ticket. They thanked General Fu for sending those fired workers. If that foolish hero had not fired Zhang Tao, this miracle purple dye would be his. We should send him a thank you card. Everyone was roasting him and praising Fu Qingqing like he was Santa Claus. He sat there soaking it up like a sponge in a bathtub of compliments. Now pay close attention here, because producing seashell purple dye actually costs a massive fortune. Every single batch of dye required expensive shells imported directly from the coast. The actual profit margins were incredibly razor thin. But did anyone do the actual math? Obviously not. Seeing purple shut off their brains completely. Chu Wang proudly announced his master plan. Sell the Grand Chu family mansion, use all the cash for shells, and go all in on purple dye production. Fu Qingqing nodded along. Great idea, go all in. Fortune favors the bold. Then came the bomb. Since we are selling our house, we need somewhere to live. I was thinking your place. Fu Qingqing made a huge grinning face. Total panic hit his face. I checked. The west wing of your estate has extra rooms. We can squeeze in. Chua Wang grabbed his arm. Babe, I am marrying you. My family living with yours is totally normal, right? His face was doing that thing where it wants to scream, but social pressure forces a tight smile. It looked like a mask cracking from the inside. You said we should go all in right now. That means selling the house. And you would never let your wife's family sleep on the street, right? He wanted to say no, every fiber of his being was screaming no. But he literally just agreed 30 seconds ago that they should go all in. Chua Wang hung on his arm with puppy eyes. Fine. Wonderful. Chu Wang clapped his hands. Everyone start packing. We are moving today. Fu Qingqing nearly fell over. Move today? You have not sold the house. Oh, we already sold it 3 days ago. 3 whole days ago, they sold their house. They planned the move, scouted his property, picked which rooms they wanted, and pretended to ask permission. The conversation was pure theater. He never had a choice. You and I can imagine a tear rolling down his cheek as he stood alone in the empty hall, watching the entire Chu clan bustling around him packing boxes. He spent 20,000 taels on engagement gifts that went to us. He is borrowing 100,000 to pay off debt, and just lost half his house to his in-laws. He entered this relationship thinking he was stealing the girl and showing our hero up. Instead, he got a massive financial black hole disguised as an entire household, a slick father-in-law who could sell sand to deserts, and a fierce fiancée, weaponizing her sweet affection like a literal guided missile. Somewhere in the cosmos, Karma was watching and eating popcorn. Tomorrow was the big wedding, the event where our hero shows up, collects 100,000 taels, and watches the happy couple rub true love in his face. Oh, he will be there, but not for the reasons they think. First, a quick, satisfying update on the massive household merger, which we heard about through the juicy grapevine. When the Chu family showed up at the estate with cartloads of luggage, the Fu family stood there completely frozen like deer in headlights. Why are they moving in? Fu Qingqing tried to explain. His dad pulled him aside. Son, did we marry a woman or adopt a clan? But then Fu Qingqing mentioned the incredible purple dye business and the massive profits. Suddenly, every single family member had their eyes turning into shiny gold coins. Can we invest too? We emptied our savings for your wedding. The absolute least they can do is let us in on this epic deal. We are family. Let us get rich together. Minutes ago, they were absolutely horrified. So what do you and I learn from all of this? Money really does make the world go round. Both families drank together, practically planning matching family tattoos, Funing totally relaxed, thinking everything was perfectly fine. One big happy family? Yeah, right. Trust me, you and I know a trap when we see one. Back home, that Chu wedding invitation arrived. Come to the wedding tomorrow. Collect your 100,000 taels. My wife saw right through it. Do not go. It is a massive trap to humiliate you. Lingua was ready to brawl. Zun's eyes went cold. Waning looked worried. I smiled. Oh, I am going. And all three of you are coming with me. Waining's eyes lit up instantly. Wait, you want us to completely outshine Shuang at her wedding? I just smiled and said nothing. But yeah, that was the plan. You want to turn your wedding into a show? Fine, I am bringing the main cast. Morning. I woke up feeling completely rested for once. Lingua mercifully let me sleep without trying to exhaust me with crazy bedroom martial arts. I got dressed and stepped outside. Then my three wives walked over, and I forgot how to breathe. Su Ling Shua, the fierce woman who normally wears heavy combat gear, stepped out in a flowing pale green dress. A jade hairpin held her hair, catching the morning breeze. She looked like a warrior goddess taking a quick day off just to look absolutely stunning. That mix of her raw, natural fierceness and sudden, elegant beauty was completely lethal. Hanzian wore a beautiful moonlight white gown, a pink sash, delicate eyebrows, starry eyes, and lips naturally red. Without any makeup at all, she looked like she floated straight out of a painting. The kind of pure beauty that leaves famous poets completely speechless and crying. Then Luo, waning, bounced over, wearing a cheerful bright yellow dress, round cheeks glowing pink, and bright eyes sparkling with fun, mischief, pure adorable energy, the kind of cute making you want to protect her, while still being slightly terrified of her insane medical skills. Three women. Three completely different types of stunning perfection. Warrior beauty, elegant beauty, cute beauty, the ultimate collection. I could not look away. My brain paused for 5 solid seconds. Waning skipped up. Well, how do we look? Honestly, I would think 3 actual goddesses just descended straight from heaven. Smooth talker, Ringwa snorted, but I caught her mouth twitching upward. These 3 amazing ladies had gone all out. Now pay attention. They were not just dressing for a party. They were loading ammo for absolute war. The mission? Make Chua Wang look like a background extra at her own wedding. Meanwhile, the Fu estate party was packed. Banners everywhere, huge tables loaded with food, and fancy guests pouring in. The entire city elite showed up because attending this massive wedding was basically a political power move. Fu Qining was a rising military star, and the empress herself approved this marriage. General Su was also there. Some young rich kid named Zhao, Auk's son, immediately asked, Where is Lingua? She did not come? General Su coughed awkwardly. She is feeling unwell. Unwell? Should I send the royal physician? No, she just needs rest. Poor General Su. He had not told a single soul. His daughter jumped the wall, disowned herself, and married me. That conversation was going to be hilarious later. Vice Minister Han showed up alone too. A swarm of guys visibly deflated, realizing Han Zun was not with him. She was literally the dream girl for every rich boy round. Beautiful, talented, cultured, and her dad might become minister. Marrying her skipped 10 years of career climbing. That was the ultimate pitch. You and I know the hilarious truth. She was at my house getting ready to crash my EXE's wedding as my own gorgeous wife. The bride and groom emerged, shifting attention. But the real show had not started. 4 epic people were approaching outside. One guy with 0 cultivation, plus 3 of the most gorgeous women in the capital. And none of us were there to celebrate. We rolled straight up to that wedding like we owned the place. Let me set the scene of what we walked into. Chua Wang and Fu Qining emerged in perfectly matching purple outfits. Not some sad, ancient purple. This was the new proved Jiangtao seashell dye. Bright, vivid, and honestly, just genuinely impressive. Their big plan was debuting this purple as a wedding marketing stunt, and it totally worked. The crowd went absolutely nuts. Wow, that purple. I have never seen purple like that before. Where can I buy this? Fu Qingqing was eating it up, pitching on the spot. Ladies and gentlemen, this exclusive purple hits the Silk Cloud Pavilion in 10 days. Totally one of a kind. Nothing like it anywhere. The women were climbing over each other. The Chu family grinned so hard their faces might crack. The Fu family counted cash. But trust me, you and I know what happens next. Let's dive into this epic wedding crash. Chua Wang was frantically searching the crowd, desperate to gloat. That Jiang Tao, the guy I fired, invented her purple dye. She desperately wanted to watch my face shatter over handing them a literal goldmine, but I was completely nowhere to be found. I wasn't even there yet. Then the announcer boomed. Xiao family, Xia Qin has arrived. Total record scratch. Every single head instantly snapped toward the entrance. The whole crowd was baffled. Why on earth attend his ex-fiance's wedding today? Was he planning to beg, cry, or cause huge drama? This was guaranteed to be a humiliating disaster for him, no matter what. Cheng and Fu Qining looked thrilled, like kids on a holiday. Their favorite target was here. Fu Qining immediately grabbed Wang's hand, fully prepared to parade their perfect romance in my face. But then he froze, because walking through those massive gates, Su Lingua and Hanzi Yun were securely holding both my arms. Right behind us, Luo Weining was gently holding Zun's hand. We moved in perfect sync, like a choreographed entrance. The courtyard went entirely silent. Now pay attention, because the visual impact of these 3 women was an absolute nuke. Wearing green, Lingua looked exactly like a warrior goddess off duty, fierce yet totally feminine. The exact kind of beauty that wipes your memory completely blank. Zun, her pristine white gown, honestly looked materialized straight from a masterpiece. Ethereal elegant, so incredibly flawless it hurt. Waning in yellow was basically pure sunshine. Bright eyes, rosy cheeks, bouncing with pure energy. She weaponized her adorable cuteness. 3 unique women. 3 entirely different levels of perfection. Each woman easily outshined the bride alone. The whole wedding venue froze. You could hear heavy breathing everywhere, mainly from every single guy in the crowd whose brain had completely short-circuited. Cheng spent hours prepping. Custom makeup, exclusive purple dress. She honestly looked pretty good. But standing next to my 3 wives, it was like putting a tiny candle beside 3 blazing suns. 0 chance. Intense whispers erupted instantly. Wait. Are all 3 actually married to him? Su Lingua, Hanzi Yun, and Luo Weining. They literally looked fresh out of heaven. Every young noble there had a massive mental breakdown. These were the absolute top-tier bachelorettes in the capital, clinging to my arms like I was the last guy on earth. The dudes who spent years daydreaming about marrying gorgeous Zun. Thinking they could skip 10 career years by marrying her, they were furiously grinding their teeth. Their ultimate dream girl clung to a dude with zero cultivation or career prospects. And remember Zhao, the duke's son, picked as Linghua's backup husband. Yeah, he was attending too. He saw his supposed fiancée walking on my arm, holding me tight, looking way happier than she ever did with him. His expression morphed from pure confusion to fury, turning an impossible shade of green. General Su, he hissed, explain this. General Su breathed a defeated sigh. She married Xia Qin. I will return your gifts tomorrow. I seriously thought Zhao's head might explode right off his body. But the greatest reaction? Fu Qining. He had planned to parade Chang around, flex their perfect love, and watch me sob pathetically into my dinner. This was his ultimate victory lap. Instead, he just stood there watching me bring 3 absolute goddesses who turned his bride into a background extra. You and I both know that expression belongs in a frame. He looked like a guy who bought a basic car, watching his rival pull up in 3 exotic sports cars. He blew 20,000 taels of someone else's hard cash, bankrupted his family, absorbed greedy relatives, and cashed in military merits just to steal my ex. And I brought 3 insane upgrades. His brain broke. His glorious revenge fantasy totally shattered. He rehearsed this exact moment endlessly beforehand, and 0 versions had me arriving like the luckiest guy alive. Chang was suffering too. She was hyped to flaunt that purple dress and watch me suffer. Instead, every eyeball stayed glued to my gorgeous wives. Her grand purple debut got brutally upstaged. 5 minutes ago, she owned the entire spotlight. Now, she was just the lady in purple, standing awkwardly near those 3 actual absolute goddesses. Somewhere in that massive crowd, every guy thought the exact same thing. How? He walks dogs. He has 0 money and absolutely no power. Why do 3 flawless women love him? Honestly, I wondered that too. But I definitely wasn't showing it. I walked in, back completely straight, wives on my arms, wearing a smirk that practically screamed, "You invited me to lose? Hilarious." I came to collect my cash and casually demonstrate what actual winning looks like. The flex worked flawlessly, and trust me, we left every single eyeball glued to my wives. Wild, right? Chua Wang stood there in her stunning purple dress, suddenly realizing she just became a background extra at her very own wedding. Stick with me here, because you and I are about to watch her brain completely short-circuit. She really thought those girls were bluffing. Nobody would actually marry that complete loser, she assumed. Now, those same girls were holding his arms, looking like literal goddesses, while she just stood there in her purple dress, feeling totally average. The funniest part, she kept looking at his stunning wives and Fu Qining, desperately trying to cope. It is fine. Looks do not matter. My husband is a 4th-rank general. I totally still win. I am the winner here. Girl, just keep telling yourself that. But he was not here for the drama. He wanted his cash. Chua Wang, hand over the remaining 100,000 taels. She nudged Fu Qining, who proudly pulled out some papers with the most arrogant smirk ever. Boom. 10 shop deeds right in the West Market. 10,000 taels each. 100,000 total. We are even. He checked the deeds. Wayne snatched the papers away and instantly turned pale. Wait a minute. These shops are located in the absolute worst part of town. They are worth maybe 1,000 taels at best. You're really trying to pass off cheap garbage as 100,000 taels? She knew that bad area perfectly. She visited every single month to treat the locals. These were literally rundown shops that rats would avoid. Fu Qining just shrugged. I had them professionally appraised at 10,000 each. Go ahead and check. Of course, the guy confirmed it. If 2 scary generals walked in and demanded you write 10,000 on a cheap deed, you do it. What else could you do? Argue? Chua Wang was smiling with pure, arrogant satisfaction. The debt is fully paid in front of everyone here. Never bother me again. This was her brilliant little scam. Buy completely worthless shops for pennies. Bribe the appraiser. Hand over fake deeds. And publicly claim the debt is clear. He would be stuck with 10 absolute money pits worth nothing. while those two happily pocketed a cool 90,000 taels. Pay close attention here, because you and I can see he is trapped. Hundreds of guests and a rigged appraisal blocking him. He could not prove a single thing. Chua Wang noticed his silence and absolutely beamed. You are just a complete nobody. What can you even do against two powerful generals? He clenched his jaw, trying to plan his next move, when suddenly an imperial decree arrived. Everyone totally froze. A royal messenger walked right through the gate. The Fu family completely lost their minds. This just had to be his official military promotion, arriving perfectly on his very own wedding day. That meant the Empress was basically sending her personal congratulations to them. Perfect timing. The messenger unrolled the fancy scroll. Fu Qining immediately dropped to his knees, literally shaking with pure excitement. The official read it out loud. For his heroic actions defending the northern border, he is hereby promoted from a 5th-rank general, all the way up to a 4th rank. 3 whole ranks in one jump. The massive crowd exploded. Congratulations, General Fu. People lined up to shake his hand while he proudly beamed. Chua Wang held her head so high with pride, she practically looked like a giraffe. Her dad kept shouting, good, 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 non-stop. Both families were basically doing mental victory laps. A 4th-rank general at his young age? The sky was truly the limit. The greatest wedding gift ever. Chua Wang shot him a look of absolute contempt. See, this is the amazing man I picked. A real man. A general. Not a pathetic loser like you. Fu Qining, on a massive ego trip, grinned at the messenger. Li Jiang, stay for some wedding wine. Li Jiang smiled back. I would absolutely love to, but I have one more decree to read first. Everyone automatically looked at Chua Wang. Was she getting promoted too? But trust me, you and I never saw this insane twist coming. The messenger turned away, opened the second scroll, and loudly called for Xia Qin. Me? An imperial decree for me? Every single person stared at him with the exact same expression. Complete and utter confusion. The absolute loser? The guy supposed to be humiliated today? That guy just got an official imperial decree. He was just as confused. He only came here to collect a huge debt and watch his ex make terrible life choices. He did not sign up for surprise royal mail delivery. Even Chua Wang and her general looked like someone had completely ruined their big, happy celebration. The messenger just stood there, scroll open, patiently waiting, while every person in that massive courtyard held their breath. He opened the golden scroll and started reading. The Shao family, totally loyal to the bone. Brave defenders of the border. Huge sacrifices made on the battlefield. A household of heroes whose noble spirit endures forever. Okay, nice opening. Standard. Your family was super awesome stuff. He just waited for the punchline. Maybe an honorary title for his dad? Xia Qin, true inheritor of the family legacy. A strong man of great ambition and exceptional talent. Wait, what do you and I make of this? He just got named Marquis of Loyalty and Valor. Talk about an epic win. Stick with me. The courtyard didn't just go silent. It went completely empty, like someone literally sucked out all the sound. 300 people instantly forgot how to breathe. A marquis. Me. The absolute nobody. The guy who could not even make soap. I just got promoted to nobility. Every single face in that courtyard did exactly the same thing. Mouth open, eyes bulging. Brain totally stopped responding. Fu Qining's victory grin froze on his face. Like someone paused a video at the absolute worst possible frame. He was a 4th-ranked general for maybe 90 seconds. But now, he stood beside a real marquis. His shiny new promotion instantly went from crown jewel to participation trophy. General Su and Vice Minister Han, my angry former fathers-in-law, who desperately tried to distance themselves from my family, both turned totally pale. You could practically see the deep regret hitting their faces in real time. Their daughters married a marquis, and they actually disowned those girls. Big mistake. But I could see them calculating everything. Wait, is it highly possible we were entirely wrong about avoiding the Shao family like the plague? Chu Wei Wing, the guy who orchestrated his daughter escaping our engagement, started visibly shaking. If there was zero breakup, his daughter would be a marquee wife today. The Chu family would actually be standing next to nobility. They would be untouchable. Instead, she married a fourth-ranked general who was literally losing all his money. And Chu Wang, oh, Chu Wang, her face turned pale like paper. Absolute ghost. Now watch closely. Her entire world just collapsed right before our eyes. The exact same man she called total trash and dumped so brutally. The guy she claimed was not worth Fu Chining's pinky finger. That guy was a marquis. She stood there in her purple dress, realizing she made the absolute worst decision in human history. Her brain literally could not handle it. It totally snapped. She opened her mouth and yelled out loud in front of everyone. Li Zhong, this must be completely fake. How can he possibly be a marquis? Smack. Fu Chining fiercely struck her across the face. Right on their wedding day, before all the guests. Are you totally crazy? He hissed, questioning a royal decree. You want to get us both completely ruined? He turned to the eunuch, laughing nervously. Sorry, she is drunk. Please ignore her. Chu Wang stood there, quietly holding her burning cheek, eyes filled with pure venom. Not at me, but at Fu Chining. Her beloved darling just struck her in public on the happiest day of her life. She stormed into the bridal chamber and smashed absolutely everything inside it. We could all clearly hear the loud crashing from the courtyard. Vases, furniture, wedding decorations. The wild sound of a woman's huge ego imploding at light speed. The wedding guests stared at each other incredibly awkwardly and started leaving. Well, congratulations. We will just go now. Fu Chining stood entirely alone in his ruined wedding reception, face extremely dark, realizing the full, massive scope of his mistake. He spent everything, his war merits, his entire family savings, his own dignity, to steal a woman. Now, I was a marquis with 3 gorgeous wives. Meanwhile, he was just a guy who struck his bride while her family completely tore up his house. For the first time, a tiny voice in Fu Chining's head quietly whispered, "Did I make a mistake?" "Yes, buddy, yes, you definitely did. I walked out of that crazy wedding holding a royal scroll that proved I was a marquis. I know what you are thinking. I was just as completely confused. The Empress personally intervened in my life, first, forcing the Chu family to return my gifts, and now, granting me a noble title, literally out of thin air. Why though? I did nothing to deserve this. I was a nobody, a broken martial artist with 0 connections to the palace. Why would the Empress even care about me, unless someone high up actually liked me? Very weird thought. Filed it away for later. When we got home, Grandma burst into pure tears. The happy kind. Heaven has eyes. Our family's fierce loyalty was not forgotten. Our ancestors can be proud. She led absolutely everyone to the ancestral hall. We burned incense, reporting the massive news to the family spirits. Grandma, Mom, all the sisters-in-law, everyone cried pure happy tears. After everyone left, I just stayed behind. Only me and the memorial tablets for generations of Shao warriors lined right up on the altar. Great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather, grandfather, and dad. Hey, Dad. You always worried about me the most out of all your sons. You just wanted me to marry well, have kids, and be really happy. You really liked Chu Wang. You said she was brave, unconventional, truly remarkable woman. You told me to treat her right. I am so sorry, Dad. I have to disappoint you. There, she is gone. We are totally done. But I think you would understand. The Empress made me a marquis. I will make you proud. I will keep this family strong. I promise. And if you and the brothers could ask the universe to heal my broken meridians much faster, that would be incredibly great. So what do you and I make of this? My wife is wrecking me during training. Anyway, time to handle those trash shop deeds. Let's dive right in. I went to inspect my 100,000 taels of property. What I found was 10 tiny, ruined shacks in the absolute worst corner of the district. Cobwebs everywhere. Absolutely nobody walking by. Even a stray cat just stared at me with pure pity. Waning crossed her arms. Told you so. Meanwhile, Lingua was ready to march straight back and start an absolute war. Are we really just accepting this? I shook my head. The deeds have the official stamp. Legally, they totally covered the debt. Fighting head-on will not work. So we lose? I grinned. A genuine grin. The kind meaning somebody is about to have a terrible time, and it will not be me. I never lose. They want to play dirty? Perfectly fine. The Chu family's big purple dye launch happens in 10 days. They think they are about to conquer the textile market. I looked at my 3 wives. Let us see whose product actually takes the city by storm. They stole my workers, cheated the debt, scammed me with garbage property, and treated my name like a punching bag. 10 short days. In 10 days, the Chu family learns the difference between finding one new color and facing a transmigrator who is about to completely reinvent the fashion industry from scratch. Game on. Now watch closely, because walking home from the West Market, passing a blacksmith shop made me completely freeze. The guy hammering the anvil, he looked familiar, like, unbelievably familiar. Zhao Deji, is that really you? The massive man flinched, dropped his heavy hammer, and tried slamming the door. You have the wrong person, he croaked. Zhao, I know it is you. You were my dad's personal bodyguard. I shoved the door, but this blacksmith had arms like massive tree trunks. I was losing. Thankfully, Lingxi put one hand on that door and pushed it wide open like it was made of paper. The massive blacksmith stumbled backward, staring at her like she was some kind of absolute monster. Welcome to my life, buddy. That is my wife. I grabbed his shaking shoulders. The army was supposed to be completely wiped out. How are you here? Then this huge, muscular, tough soldier dropped right to his knees and started sobbing. I am sorry. I failed the general. I failed everyone. I should have fallen with them. My heart shattered. I pulled the guy up and told him to explain. What he told me changed everything. The Shao army was not completely destroyed. Several hundred men actually survived. My dad and 9 brothers fought to the bitter end specifically to buy them enough time to safely escape. The survivors scattered, too ashamed to ever show their faces, hiding across the city. Shou blamed himself every single day for surviving. He said if his elderly mother did not need care, he would have given up entirely already. Then he revealed how the disaster truly happened. You feel it too, right? This part made my fury ignite. Fuming Mr. Perfect General, rational hero, and my fiancé stealing nemesis, charged recklessly right after a tiny group of enemy scouts. My dad warned him not to push too deep, but Fu Qinqing, starving for glory, totally ignored the order and rode straight into a trap. Once surrounded, my dad had zero choice. He sent my brothers to rescue Fu Qinqing. But guess what? That was also a massive trap. Layer upon layer of ambushes. My dad had to personally lead the main army out to save everyone. And that is when the absolute devastation happened. Dad, 9 brothers, 30,000 soldiers. All gone because Fu Qinqing could not control his massive ego. And somehow, Fu Qinqing survived. Not just survived, but heroically defended the city afterward, getting himself promoted straight to a 4th rank general. Let me get this entirely straight. This guy caused the disaster, got my family wiped out, took credit for cleaning his own mess, married my fiancée, and then tried to publicly humiliate me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. But being a transmigrator with zero cultivation and a body like wet cardboard, I just took a deep breath. There were bigger questions too. This entire thing smelled exactly like a massive setup. Was the ambush just terrible luck? Or did someone plan for my family to fall? I filed that under things I will absolutely investigate when I gain actual power. For now, I had a totally different plan. Zhao Deji, can you contact the other survivors? I think so. Why? I looked him straight in the eyes. I am completely rebuilding the Shao army. His jaw literally dropped. Rebuild? Yes. My family's ultimate debt needs paying. One day, I will ride into the steppes and make the Huns pay for exactly what they did. For my dad, for my brothers, for every brave soldier who never came home. His eyes lit up with something completely new. Hope and rage. The powerful kind. I will find them. Every single one. They will absolutely come running. I handed him silver for his mother and travel expenses, then left. Lingua waited until we were outside to ask the most obvious question. Do you even know how much maintaining an army costs? I will figure it out. You do not have the money. I will get the money. You say that about everything, and I keep being right. She simply could not argue with that logic. Meanwhile, at the Fu household, the wedding night was happening. And trust me, you and I love seeing karma work. It was an absolute disaster. The entire reception was completely ruined by my marquee decree. The guests all left incredibly awkwardly. All right, stick with me here. Chua Wang wrecked the bridal chamber in rage, while Chua Ming sat there regretting his entire life. Fu Qingqing apologized for slapping a Wang in public. She forgave him, realizing she messed up by questioning that imperial decree so loudly. They made up, cuddled, and whispered sweet things. Then came the ultimate moment, their wedding night. The exact prize Qingqing had been craving for months. For him, this wasn't just a romance. This was his ultimate revenge against me. I am taking what was yours, Xiao Chen. Your girl is mine. He was practically vibrating. This was it. The absolute finish line. Every single thing he sacrificed was finally paying off. They fell onto the bed, and things happened. Right after, Fu Qingqing lit a candle and closely checked the bed sheets. He was searching for proof. The sign he claimed someone totally untouched. There was zero proof. Where is the mark? Well, here is the absolute craziest thing. Fu Qingqing simply did not know. A Wang was already mine. Back during our engagement, she insisted on moving fast just to prove her complete loyalty to the Zhao family. It was a sneaky strategy to lock down the massive dowry. So, while Fu Qingqing sat there staring blankly at clean sheets, his entire fantasy fully crumbling around him, somewhere across town, I was peacefully planning out the reconstruction of an army, completely unaware I just won an epic final victory over my rival. He wanted to be first. He failed. Now, pay close attention, because this is what we call absolute karma. Let me show you exactly what was going down at the Fu household on their disastrous wedding night. Because this is pure comedy. Fu Qingqing, the big hero general, the guy who blew his entire military reward just to steal my fiancée. He was finally in bed with Chu Wang, living out his absolute wildest fantasy. He finished up, lit a candle, and checked the sheets. There was zero proof. His smug smile melted away like ice cream dropping into a volcano. You were already with Zhao Chen. Chua Wang did not flinch. She stared at him like he was being completely ridiculous. Yes, I gave my first time away to him, but my heart stays with you. He got my physical self, but not my soul. Why are you acting so immature? Fu Qingqing's brain practically exploded. His whole elaborate revenge plot relied on one specific detail. Taking the prize Xiao Chen could never have. That was the dream. I claimed her, and you suffered. But I already claimed her long before him, way before the engagement was even over. He did not steal my girl. He bought my leftovers for 200,000 taels. The guy literally paid a fortune for second. He wanted to scream. I never asked. You did not think to mention this before I bankrupted my entire family for you. But Chua Wang snapped right back. Stop being childish. If you love me, my past means nothing. She was lecturing him about maturity. The girl who suggested a two-husband timeshare at a funeral was telling him to grow up. Fu Qingqing collapsed onto the bed like a totally deflated balloon. He considered divorcing her, then remembered the Empress's strict decree. There were absolutely no divorces allowed. He was trapped, married to someone who had already been with his greatest enemy, stuck with her annoying family, living in his house, and broke from paying his debts. The one bright spot? The purple dye business might make some cash. That was all he had. Purple seashell dye. His final hope. Poor naive man. Meanwhile, Chua Wang lay there, sensing Fu Qingqing's intense disgust radiating toward her, thinking silently. Xiao Chen would never, ever have treated me like this. Hilarious. Now she misses me fondly. You and I both know karma never misses. It is a lifestyle. My turn. After discovering Zhao and learning about the survivors, I had a brand new mission. Rebuild the Zhao army. But armies require cash, lots of cash, which meant my business strategy had to work flawlessly. The Chu family's purple dye launch was exactly 10 days away. My shop reopening was also exactly 10 days away. This was shaping up to be an epic head-to-head clash, and I planned to win. But I needed one key thing: marketing. Back in my original world, what pushes products? Celebrity endorsements. Attach a highly famous face to your brand, and people lose their minds. In ancient times, the closest thing to celebrities were courtesans. Specifically, the top courtesans known as flower queens. These women were legendary across town. Whatever they wore, everyone desperately wanted. Whatever they promoted, everybody bought instantly. So, I headed straight to Moonlight Pavilion, the city's premier entertainment house. The manager practically tackled me at the entrance. "Marquis Zhao, what an honor. Perfect timing. It is our 10th anniversary celebration." Oh, right. I was a marquis. Now, people treat you differently when you have a title. Yesterday, I was nothing. Today I am marquis. Right this way, sir. Would you like some tea? Trust me on this. I had never visited this kind of place before. Not because I am some noble guy avoiding earthly pleasures. It was because my body was literally too damaged. The doctor warned any wild activity could permanently ruin my healing meridians. Picture this with me. Visiting a pleasure house when you're physically unable is like hitting a massive buffet with your jaw glued shut. But today was strictly business, not fun. I looked at the madam and demanded her 4 legendary flower queens immediately. Bring them out. Before she could reply, a slimy voice cut right through the room. Well, if it isn't Xia Qin. 3 gorgeous wives at home. Yet here you are. Do your ladies know about this? I turned around. Zhao, the duke's son. The exact guy Lingua ditched, vaulting a wall to marry me instead after his gifts arrived. He sat with his rich crew, glaring at me like I had personally insulted every one of their royal ancestors. These guys were all completely crushing on Hanzi Yun. They rushed to her dad's place after our wedding, confirming the wild rumors. And when they found out she actually tied the knot with me, absolute chaos. Now, here I am, the guy with the city's top 3 beauties, casually strolling into a pleasure house looking for extra female company. To them, I was the absolute villain. I casually sat down, took a slow sip of tea, and smirked. Upset, gentlemen? Are you a little jealous of my amazing luck? Steam practically blasted right out of their furious ears. Suddenly, someone shouted, "The 4 flower queens are descending." 4 ladies stepped down from upstairs. Each one was breathtakingly gorgeous in totally different ways. Top-tier beauty, the exact kind that would literally break the internet in my old world. Every single guy was drooling. Zhao just smirked at me. Watch this closely. Go ahead, try getting all 4 flower queens. Think money is enough? Please. These are elite flower queens. I stood up, adjusted my robe, and faced the beauties. Ladies, I have a business deal. Sit and chat. Zhao completely burst out laughing. Business? What could you possibly offer? Oh, wait, is it the shady physical business? Even then, they must agree. The flower queens looked at me with pure disgust. Another rich guy buying attention. How original. I smiled calmly. Listen, for this special deal, I only need your mouths. Every guy completely froze. Xiao and his friends blinked hard. Mouths? What does he mean? Wait, is he actually asking for that? Mine straight in the gutter. No, you absolute fools. I meant talking. Simple word of mouth and brand endorsements. I needed advertising, but I didn't correct them. Let them marinate in their own wild confusion. My fashion revolution needed famous faces, and I was signing my first ambassadors. Zhao fully expected me to grovel right there. Every rich kid thought I'd embarrass myself completely. Meanwhile, the 4 queens didn't even acknowledge my existence. They jumped straight into their anniversary performance. Fine, I can wait. I am patient. Let's enjoy the show. Honestly, credit where it is due. These ladies could perform. Singing, dancing. The absolute complete package. Moving like water. Voices like pure silk. Eyes that could literally hypnotize a monk. The crowd was absolutely melting. After the dance, lead queen Fonging announced, "We have all composed songs, but we desperately need lyrics. Any talented guy who writes words worthy of our music gets to spend the night privately in our personal rooms." We both know what that implies. The room erupted. Every guy with a functioning pen was vibrating with intense excitement. In-depth conversation was the classiest possible way to say, "Sleep with us." And these thirsty dudes were ready to start writing immediately. The queens played their tracks. Completely different styles, graceful, super intense, beautifully sad, and totally playful. The crowd went absolutely feral. So divine. Way better than anything in the book of songs. Heavenly music. I can rest happy. My soul just left my body. Compliments flowed like a broken faucet. Then I opened my mouth. They are okay. Just average. Silence. Every head rotated toward me like synchronized owls. The fans were absolutely livid. His ears must be broken. He is just mad they completely ignored him. Pathetic attention-seeking. How dare he insult their masterpieces? The four flower queens themselves went totally cold. Absolute ice. They poured their literal hearts into those songs. Proud artists who climbed to the absolute top using genuine talent, not just their looks. And some crippled marquis was just sitting right there, calling their entire life's work perfectly average. Queen Hua Li couldn't hold back. If the marquis is an expert, maybe show us exactly where our music falls short. Polite words, but deadly serious tone. Zhao was laughing his absolute head off. Him? No music? Funniest thing all year. Then some cocky young noble named Jiang Liang decided to get clever. Play one single song on any instrument and I will call you daddy. I looked at him. You said that? Remember you promised that. I stood up, hit the stage, sat behind the traditional gyujing string instrument, and just started playing. Trust me on this. In my past life, my girlfriend absolutely made me master the gyujing. I only joined those music lessons to support her. She quit after 3 weeks. Me? I stuck around for 2 solid years and mastered several other instruments. Trust me, stick around. My ex just got a breakup, while I gained an epic skill. I played Erdunda Inda. Okay, just kidding. I actually played Guangling Sen, an absolute legend. The most complex and powerful classical masterpiece in Chinese history. A piece so famous that the original was actually said to be lost for centuries. The first note struck the air, and the whole room went completely silent. Not polite, just totally stunned. The exact kind of silence where everyone forgets they even exist. The music tore through that room like a massive storm. Fierce, breathtaking, haunting, unstoppable. My fingers flew across those strings like they had their own mind. Every note landed like a heavy punch right to the soul. The four flower queens' eyes went completely wide. Their mouths literally dropped wide open. Their perfect, elegant composure completely shattered. They studied music for years, knowing absolutely every single famous masterpiece, but they had never heard this one. It went way beyond anything they knew, totally beyond this entire world's understanding, because it simply wasn't from this world. When that final note faded, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Now watch closely. The silence lasted so incredibly long, time basically froze. Then those queens looked at me like a literal god. Holly's face burned crimson with shame. My lord, that piece, that is true divine music. We were total fools to doubt you. Please forgive our terrible rudeness. Would you honor us by visiting the 3rd floor so we can properly apologize? All 4 of them nodded frantically. They looked at me with eyes that completely shifted from, "Who is this total clown?" to "Please never ever leave," in just one single song. The wealthy boys in the audience, they looked like they just got smacked with a fish. Their entire reality, that Zhao Qin is absolutely useless, got completely demolished in 3 minutes. Then I slowly looked right at Zhang Liang, the call me daddy guy. One flower queen actually spoke up to defend me. Zhang Gongzi, a real man keeps his word. Zhang Ling's face flashed through 15 different emotions. He desperately checked for an escape route, finding absolutely none. Every single eye in the building locked onto him. He gritted his teeth so hard I practically heard them crack. Daddy. He actually called me daddy. Right in front of the four most gorgeous women. And every single arrogant, noble heir and wealthy boy in the entire capital. The absolute silence that followed was chef's kiss. Every other guy in the room shifted around awkwardly. They suddenly realized they had all mocked me, truly assuming I was absolutely nothing. And now, their buddy literally just called me father. It honestly felt like I became everyone's dad simultaneously. Zhao Qin, musician, inventor, marquis, and now absolute daddy to the entire young aristocracy of the capital. Not too bad for a guy who couldn't even make soap. The four gorgeous queens escorted me upstairs like pure royalty. I know what you're thinking. Every guy watched me enter the legendary third floor, the ultimate VIP zone. Money simply cannot buy. Surrounded by four of the absolute most stunning women in the city, I practically felt pure jealousy burning right through my back. Zhao honestly looked like he was having a severe medical emergency. That guy spent a literal fortune at this place for years, and he never even got a tiny glimpse of that exclusive third floor. I casually walked in, played just one single song, and scored the full VIP escort. But let me be totally clear here, I was definitely not here for what everyone assumed. Upstairs, the four queens surrounded me with pure bedroom eyes, obviously expecting things to head in a very specific, romantic direction. But I remembered a crucially important life lesson. When you are a guy outside your house, always protect yourself. Fong Ying leaned in. My lord, you mentioned you also write beautiful lyrics. Yes, but first, I have a business deal. The Snow Queen giggled playfully. If your lyrics satisfy us, we will absolutely do anything you want. All four of them blushed perfectly on cue. They were convinced business was just my classy code word. They were definitely thinking, why does this guy keep calling it business? Just say you want to stay the night like a totally normal person. No, ladies, I mean genuine business with contracts and marketing strategies. I will give each of you an original song, lyrics, and music. One per queen. Their eyes went massively wide. 4 original compositions from the guy whose music just made their entire education feel completely useless. They were literally vibrating with excitement. I grabbed paper, quickly writing down 4 classic Chinese poems that became famous hit songs back in my old world. Absolute bangers, seriously. Centuries of rich cultural refinement flawlessly distilled into pure lyrical perfection. The queens read them, looking like they were literally ascending to heaven. They read the lyrics over and over, whispering softly to themselves, completely and utterly entranced. My lord, how do these beautiful words sound when sung? Well, here's where things got super awkward. I said, look, I am an inventor, clever strategist, and apparently a marquis, but a singer? That I'm definitely not. So what do you and I learn? My singing voice is a literal crime against ears. Stick with me, we are jumping right into the wildest musical culture shock ever. The 4 queens were completely speechless. My singing was awful, sure, but this modern pop style was completely alien to anything they had ever heard in this entire ancient era. Picture playing heavy metal for someone who only knows classical poetry. It is unique, one said politely. You guys hate it. Crickets. Look, you only know traditional tunes. This is next level stuff. The first listen is always weird. Give it time, and the absolute genius will finally click. Master these tracks, and your fame will explode overnight. Every other performer in the entire empire will be scrambling to copy you. These women were geniuses. They tuned out my awful voice, focused on the raw melody, and suddenly, their eyes totally lit up. The musical structure was pure gold. My vocal cords were just absolute garbage. Please teach us. Bingo. I finally revealed my actual master plan. Not bedroom fun, but pure marketing. I needed them as the literal faces of my brand. Sing my tracks, wear my designs, and become my absolute top-tier ancient influencers. They were completely stunned. You actually came here to do business? What else would I mean? They instantly avoided eye contact. I just smirked. My master plan was finally falling right into place. With 4 massive celebrity endorsements locked in, my grand reopening was going to crush everyone. Boom. Now watch closely, because everything just hit the fan. The door exploded open, revealing Su Lingua with a furious, red-hot, blazing glare. Behind her, the poor madam was completely panicking. Oh man. Lingua, how did you find out? Wait, how did I? What? Busted in a pleasure house, surrounded by 4 beautiful women. Meanwhile, Xiao was grinning downstairs. That absolute snake had secretly sent a messenger to tip off my wife. That is exactly why he made everyone stay behind. He wanted to watch me get completely wiped out. I swear it is not what it looks like. I came for business. Business? In a brothel? Do I look like an idiot? Her eyes started tearing up, which was honestly 10 times scarier than her rage. In her mind, the logic was crystal clear. I avoided the bedroom for days, then got caught alone with 4 gorgeous women in a literal pleasure house. Yeah, guilty as charged. She seriously thought I was saving all my energy for these flower queens. She figured that was why I claimed I was way too weak for bedroom fun. And honestly, from her point of view, it looked exactly like that. She grabbed my wrist and violently dragged me out of there. I had absolutely zero chance to resist. This woman could bench press a horse, and I had the physical strength of a weak little kitten. You and I both know how embarrassing this is. The 4 queens were stunned, speechless, watching me get dragged out like a naughty toddler by my own incredibly furious wife. A historic first for the Moonlight Pavilion. Downstairs, Xiao and his entire crew were absolutely loving it, laughing, pointing, and practically grabbing popcorn and taking notes. Look at him getting dragged by his wife. So much for the great boss. Xiao was beyond thrilled. He was literally thinking, thank goodness I never married that crazy woman. If she caught me here. Yeah, buddy, that is the absolute smartest thought you have had all week. Lingua did not say a single word the entire walk back. It was absolutely terrifying. A yelling Lingua is manageable, but a silent Lingua with destruction in her eyes? Save me. We arrived home. She kicked our bedroom door wide open and tossed me on the bed. Lingua, I swear it was business. She was already undressing. What are you doing? Whatever you planned on doing with those 4 women, you were going to do with me instead. I did not want them. I was negotiating a marketing deal. Too late. She had already pounced like a wildcat. I just sighed. When you cannot fight back, you just accept your fate. If you cannot outrun a tiger, let the tiger win. This was going to be an insanely long night. Across town, Xiao was happily raising a glass, thinking he won. Buddy, you are clueless. You just made my fierce wife incredibly motivated tonight. And I am the poor guy paying the ultimate physical price. My body wants a restraining order against my own wife. The next morning, I crawled out of bed looking like an absolute battlefield survivor. My legs felt like jelly. My poor back was officially divorcing my own spine. Every single muscle submitted a formal resignation. Meanwhile, Lingua was happily chatting in the courtyard with the other wives, looking like she'd just had 8 hours of perfect beauty sleep. After her insane rampage last night, Dr. Wayne took one look at my miserable state and sprinted over. Are you okay? She quickly checked my pulse, then shot Lingua the absolute most disapproving doctor glare I have ever witnessed. Lingua, you cannot keep doing this. His weak body has not recovered enough for this extreme level of activity. Lingua turned bright red, but instantly fired back. Well, maybe if he stopped sneaking off to pleasure houses. About that, I groaned, collapsing down. So what do you and I learn here? Let me explain everything before someone crushes my pelvis. Let's dive in. I explained the Flower Queen marketing plan. I broke down celebrity endorsements and brand ambassadors. Famous faces sell products, so I needed the city's top women wearing my clothes and singing my songs when our shop finally reopened. By the end, all 3 wives were staring at me with completely stunned faces, finally realizing it made perfect sense. Lingua looked down at the floor. You could have explained this earlier. I literally told you multiple times while you dragged me through the streets. She ignored me, totally focused on plotting my downfall instead of listening to a single word I said. She went completely silent. We all knew the truth. Then, Waning established a brand new house rule. No more bedroom activities with Ling Shua until my cultivation fully recovers. Doctor's strict orders. I had to ask the most important question of my life. How long until I fully recover? Waning pondered. 6 months maximum. Maybe less with proper rest. 6 months? That is nothing. I might actually regain my lost powers. Lingua and Xian grew incredibly excited too. No more useless labels. No more disrespect. The original martial arts genius was making a huge comeback. But Lingua immediately grew serious. Even if your cultivation returns, you must hide it. Whoever eliminated your family is still roaming out there. Right now, you are harmless. Nobody worries about you. But if the top martial talent suddenly reappears, they will hunt you down. She was absolutely right. Being totally useless actually kept me safe. The second I revealed my true strength, whoever ruined my family would finish the job. Or maybe that was exactly how I exposed them. A snake hiding in tall grass is basically impossible to catch. But when that snake strikes, that is exactly when you grab its throat. But that was future planning. I had a business where to win right now. Now watch this closely. The Chu family went all in marketing their purple dye. Posters everywhere. Huge word-of-mouth campaigns across town. Wedding guests told absolutely everyone about those incredible purple outfits. The entire city was buzzing with wild excitement. Did you hear? The Chu family actually created a brand new purple. It is brighter and never fades. I'm buying some the exact day it launches. Huge crowds were lining up at Silk Cloud Pavilion just asking when that gorgeous purple fabric would finally become available. The Chu family was practically dancing inside their shop, counting imaginary cash. Both the Chu and Fu families went completely all in. Every single coin, their entire savings, all their property. Chu Wei Ming even pulled out his own personal funeral fund. The man literally gambled his coffin savings on purple seashells. These shells were imported from coastal cities, meaning every single dye batch cost an absolute fortune to produce. But they honestly did not care. They planned to jack up prices and let massive demand do the heavy lifting. Shuang cuddled up to Fu Qining at the shop, whispering about how they would completely crush every single competitor in town. She was still trying to fix their relationship after that epic wedding night disaster. Apparently, Fu Qining gave her the cold shoulder for days because she already slept with his greatest rival before him. Quite the dramatic revelation. She thought he was acting childish. He thought she was acting shameless. Honestly, they were both right. But today, she leaned right on his shoulder, batting her eyes, praising his brilliance. And his cold attitude was slowly melting away. He sighed and wrapped an arm around her. Fine, I married her. Cannot return her now. Might as well make this work. They casually asked each other about my shop. Any movement from the brocade pavilion? Still closed, doors totally shut, completely dead and silent. I know what you are thinking. They smiled, convinced my shop was totally finished without any special dye. They won before the battle even started. Let us ensure the Xiao family never, ever recovers. Fu Qining cheered as they clinked imaginary glasses. United by shared hatred for me, their relationship drama was completely forgotten. How romantic. Meanwhile, back at my house, we were in full production mode. While Waning and I were out foraging for dye plants and perfecting new colors, every woman inside the household was busy sewing qipaos. In this specific world, needlework was a basic skill for women. Even warrior Lingua could handle some simple, elegant embroidery. But guided by my 4th and 5th sisters-in-law, the ultimate sewing masters, they were turning out qipao after qipao. Let me tell you, when those gorgeous finished products started piling up, their reactions were absolutely priceless. Every single woman who saw the designs turned bright red. These fabulous clothes were like nothing this world had ever seen. Form-fitting, figure-hugging, beautifully showing off body curves in bold ways that ancient fashion had never even attempted. Short hems showing the calves caused loud gasps. The high slits going up to the thigh caused actual screaming. Wow, is this not a bit too bold? People will see our legs. This slit goes way too high. But not one single woman called it ugly, because it simply was not. Even through their obvious embarrassment, they could all see it. That is where we leave it. These gorgeous, revolutionary clothes would make every woman need one. The Chu family merely had purple dye. I had an entirely new major fashion category. Celebrity endorsements from 4 famous courtesans, super bright dyes, and weaving machines that produced fabric 5 times faster than any of my slow competitors. They brought one new color to a huge fight. I brought the Industrial Revolution. 10 days were up. The showdown was here, and my enemies had no idea what was about to hit them. Launch day, the big one. Pure hype. Stick with me here. Brocade Pavilion versus Silk Cloud Pavilion. A fashion revolution versus purple seashells. The Chu family actually did all my marketing work for me. They spent an absolute fortune plastering the whole city with ads about their amazing purple dye. Huge posters everywhere. People talking on every single corner. The hype was completely massive. Their shop was right across the street, which meant every single customer they attracted was also walking right past my front door. I did not even have to spend one single coin on advertising. The Chu family basically bought me totally free foot traffic. Thank you, enemies. Super generous. Love your work. By early morning, a massive line formed outside the rival Silk Cloud Pavilion. People were so excited, pushing and shoving. It is opening. I need that purple fabric. Who just touched me? Chu Ying and Fu Qinning strutted out like they owned the universe. 2 generals keeping the crowd in order while their cousin posted prices. 5 taels per bolt of fabric. 50 taels for silk. The crowd gasped loudly. That was several times the normal everyday price. But the cousin gave her sales pitch. Exclusive. Limited quantity. It only gets more expensive. You are smart people. You know, amazing quality when you see it. Then they brought out the purple fabric for display. It looked genuinely good. I admit that. Bright purple, way better than anything else on the market. The crowd oohed and awed. A rich family servant stepped right up. I will take a bolt of silk. Chu Ying and Fu's dad were grinning so extremely hard their faces might literally split open. Watch closely here. Their massive gamble was paying off, but only for 5 short minutes. Then from the back of the crowd, several loud voices suddenly shouted, "Hey, the Brocade Pavilion just opened. They have improved dyes too, and it is cheaper. And the 4 flower queens from the Moonlight Pavilion are over there. Go look now." I definitely paid those guys to have really big mouths. A very reasonable marketing expense. The effect was completely instant. The back half of the line turned and ran. Not walked, they ran. Because honestly, if you are a regular person who cannot afford 50 tael silk anyway, would you rather stare at purple cloth or go see the 4 most famous beauties in the entire city for totally free? That line at the Silk Cloud Pavilion evaporated like water on a hot pan. Over at my incredible shop, it was finally showtime. The 4 flower queens took the stage and performed the brilliant songs I taught them. New music, new style. Completely unlike anything this ancient world had ever heard before. The crowd went insane. So that's what the famous flower queens look like. I would give 10 years of my life for one date with them. And what is this catchy music? It is strange, but I really cannot stop listening. The classic songs I stole from the future had wormed into their brains exactly as planned. Catchy, emotional, and impossible to forget. The queens practiced for days and delivered them flawlessly. Phase 1. Attract the crowd. Check. Phase 2. Blow their minds. I signaled the gorgeous queens to step aside and sent out my secret weapon. A stunning line of women walked out from inside the shop wearing kipaos. Now, I only wanted my sisters-in-law to proudly model them. Mom said, "Absolutely not." Grandma said, "Absolutely not. Our women do not parade themselves for complete strangers." Fine. So I hired professional models, confident courtesans from the entertainment house who had absolutely zero problems with being looked at. They walked out in a single file, one by one, strutting down the wooden stage like a fashion runway. Because that is exactly what it was. A full modern fashion show transplanted from the 21st century straight into ancient China. The crowd lost their minds. These qipaos hugged every curve, showed the collarbones, and cinched the waist. Some featured high slits that revealed quick flashes of leg as the beautiful women walked. Some were short-hemmed, showing calves. I know what you are thinking. The fabric colors were so vivid that people rubbed their eyes, thinking they were hallucinating. What are those clothes? I have never seen anything like this. The way it shows the body is unreal. I need one. I need 10. Look at those colors. That red. That blue. Is that even possible? Men were drooling. Some were visibly, let's just say, physically affected. Women were grabbing each other's arms, going, I want that one. No, that one. No, I want all of them. And then someone noticed the purple. Wait, is that purple? It is even brighter than the one at the Silk Cloud Pavilion. Boom. Headshot. My purple was not from expensive imported seashells. It was from my brilliant mordant dyeing technique. So what do we take from this? Better results, lower cost. The Chu family just had purple, but I had the entire rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Every color more vivid and alive than anything anyone here had ever seen. Stick with me here. This made the Chu family's purple look like utter garbage. But the grand finale? The 4 flower queens stepped back out, each rocking a wild, multicolored qipaao. Different shades beautifully blending on one fabric. Flawless gradients melting from one color to another, like a sunset trapped in silk. The crowd went completely wild. Pay attention here. In this world, fabric only had one color. Getting 2 shades on one cloth without them mixing was flat out impossible. People tried and failed for generations. The dyes always mixed and turned into pure mud. But my new technique, crisp transitions, flawless blend, vibrant colors resting side by side in total harmony, flowing naturally together like absolute, pure magic. 4 legendary beauties wearing 4 impossible dresses, rocking 4 impossible color combinations, standing before 1,000 people whose brains had just completely and utterly shut down. The brocade pavilion did not just open, absolutely exploded. Across the street, the rival Chu family heard that massive roar. You and I know their panic, seeing remaining customers look away, feeling the very ground shift under their feet. They brought a single candle,